the memory of 9/11. And this scene taking place in every stadium. Members of the 5th Special Forces Green Beret and 101st Airborne that served in Afghanistan. And right now, the coin toss.
Philadelphia won the toss. Will receive. Good luck, man.
So the Eagles will receive. Well, Darryl, we had preseason, and of course, every coach will tell you, we were all vanilla. Well, whatever they have up their sleeves, we should expect to see today.
Well, there's been a lot of preparation for this game, and anybody that thinks that Philadelphia is going to come out with the attack that they showed in the preseason is going to be in for a pleasant surprise today. I can go back 2 years ago. The Philadelphia Eagles down in Texas Stadium. Andy Reid opened the season with an onside kick. You expect those type of things from this football team. They've had a lot of time to look at Tennessee as an opponent, find some areas that they think they can get some good matchups, and pick certain things and put them in their offense to be successful today.
And there's Jeff Fisher, and Jeff Fisher looks like he's a man on a mission. When we talked to him the other day, Moose, he said, a lot of people think the window of opportunity has closed on us. They're going to find out something different after the 7-9 year following the 2 13-3 campaigns.
The most impressive thing that I felt during our visit with the Tennessee Titans was the atmosphere that they had at their facility. The guys all came in with a big smile on their face. They were happy. They are excited to get on the football field and put last year's memory behind them.
And there is Brian Mitchell getting ready to receive the opening kickoff. The Eagles 13-3 on the road the last 2 years after going 7-1. Pretty good last season. And Tennessee, that's their record at home, but they have stumbled. They won 16 of their first 17 in the Coliseum and then have stumbled. They have lost 6 of their last 9. They want to reverse that. What better way than today? So Joe Nedney getting ready to kick off for the Titans. Brian Mitchell and Damian Douglas are back deep for the Eagles, and the season is underway. Mitchell on the 12, returning for Philadelphia, and Mitchell brings it out at a good return to the 33-yard line. So the Philadelphia Eagles offense, and the exact same one they opened with a year ago. And there you see John Runyon, the right tackle, returning to Tennessee for the first time. Spent 4 years here with the Titans. Dunash coming off a career year, and Chad Lewis, a go-to tight end for the quarterback, Donovan McNabb. That is his record as a starter. Eagles getting to the championship game before losing to the Rams. Staley is lined up wide to the left, and they bring out the fullback, Martin, wide right. And McNabb, having trouble finding a receiver, is down inside the 30-yard line, and a loss of about 5. Kevin Carter and Henry Ford combined to make the play. Let's check the Titans defense, and they expect better year pass rushing wise from Kearse and Carter, the 2 bookends. The linebackers, Keith Bullock in his first start of his career, Randall Godfrey and Peter Sermon. And the secondary with the rookie Tank Williams at strong safety and Lance Schulters, the former 49er, at free safety. 2nd and 14, Antonio Freeman in the game as the 3rd receiver for McNabb. Again having trouble, and McNabb getting away and completing the pass for a first down to the 46-yard line to Dorsey Levens. So Levens and Freeman, 2 former Packers in the lineup on 3rd down.
Well, you heard the discussion in the pregame show about the quarterbacks and their mobility, able to prolong a play, to give the receivers an opportunity to make another chance at a play. And Donovan McNabb right there, that's as well as you can do it. And there is the improvement that Andy Reid wants to see. Accuracy on the move.
Well, not on the move right now is Javon Kearse. And you remember he had that triceps injury that bothered him in preseason. And right now they're working on Javon Kearse, who has 36 sacks in the last 3 years for Tennessee.
Javon Kearse on a stunt, back to the inside. Can't see anything as of yet. He is actually right there on the play, almost making the play on Donovan McNabb. Is it right there when he lands? It looks like it could be right there as he landed on his own player. You can see him going down right there. There's Javon. He's starting to take a look. He's going to be on the left-hand side. As he lands there, we'll see if he lands cleanly.
And Kearse is going to have to come off, and he is very upset, throwing his helmet as he has come off an early serious blow to the Tennessee Titans defense. And Carlos Hall, a rookie from the University of Arkansas, will replace him, and that does not look good for Javon Kearse. 16-yard pickup, giving the Eagles a first down on their 46. Dorsey Levens is the lone back, and Levens getting the carry. No gain on the play. Kevin Carter coming up to make the tackle.
Well, you talked about Kevin Carter, expected to have a great year this season, already in on 2 big plays, and he's the guy that initially put pressure on Donovan McNabb, and here he is right down here at the bottom of your screen. Now he's getting involved in the run game. A quick move right there by Chad Lewis and into the backfield to disrupt that running play.
And now the Eagles, as Carter very active early on, bringing in Brian Westbrook. And he is lining up in the slot, rookie from Villanova. And they'll try to get him the ball, but not on this play, as Deuce Staley carries and is stopped short of midfield. And bringing up third down and about 7 for Philadelphia. Robert Smith, the top draft choice out of the University of Tennessee. And there is Kearse.
And that's unfortunate for Javon, because he fought a tricep injury the entire preseason, was limited, and now the first game, now we've got an ankle injury, and it looks like John Welborn is down for the Philadelphia Eagles on the field right now.
Well, a war of attrition so far early in this game. We have less than 3 minutes gone by in the first quarter. 2 injuries to 2 linemen, no score.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Home of the Grand Ole Opry, as Javon Kearse is being taken off on the cart to the locker room. Albert Haynesworth, who is the #1 pick out of Tennessee, is in there, and Doug Brzezinski replaces John Welborn. Third down and 7. Donovan McNabb again under pressure, and this time he just gets rid of it and was able to get rid of it without a grounding call. Good pressure by Carlos Hall, who came in initially to replace Kearse, and fourth down coming up.
Well, last season, the Tennessee Titans defense couldn't play the aggressive style that they like to, because they had so many injuries in the secondary, and on that play right there, just a great job. Randall Godfrey is a guy you have to watch. Randall Godfrey right here, he has a great feel for finding the open gaps in the delayed blitz.
So fourth down, Tennessee with a good defensive sequence, and Sean Landeta, the 40-year-old punter, kicking to John Simon, and this will bounce into the end zone for a touchback. So the only downer for Tennessee was the injury to Kearse, who was in the locker room. Now we'll see Steve McNair lead the Titans to their first offensive sequence.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Sprint. Introducing PCS Vision. Clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. By Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By FedEx, Ground International, Online or Express. Don't worry, there's a FedEx for that. And by Coors Light, the official beer sponsor of the NFL. Cool down easy.
And we're back in Nashville. Let's get a report from Don Tollefson on the injury to Javon Kearse. Don.
Hey, Dick, Javon Kearse in great pain. It is a sprained left foot. He's been taken to the locker room. He is questionable. John Welborn for the Eagles being worked on behind the bench of the Eagles, but the Eagles have great depth in that offensive line. Dick and Moose.
All right, Don, thanks very much. So the Titans from the 20-yard line, and it's going to be a play action on first down, and the pass is caught by Derek Mason. And a big gainer up to the 40-yard line for the Titans. A pickup of 20 yards on first down with Dawkins on the tackle. Here are the Titans offense, and Zach Pillar starts at left guard. Bruce Matthews, a 19-year brilliant career, retiring. And the rest of the backs and receivers, Eddie George is back, has a new fullback in Greg Camella. Mason with the catch moments ago, and Frank Wycheck is the safety blanket for Steve McNair, coming off a career season for Tennessee. First down at the 40. And here is Eddie George's first carry, and it's a good one. Eddie George may get the first down, and I think he has it. What a return after an injury-plagued campaign with toe and ankle problems.
Well, Brian Dawkins is going to sneak into the box. He's right here as he moves up into the line. So that's 8 men in your defensive front. That is supposed to stop the run. But now we see why Eddie was so excited and had that big smile on his face on Friday when we talked to him. He is back. This is a very, very physical offensive line in the run game for the Tennessee Titans.
Now they have 2 tight ends. Aaron Kinney joining Frank Wycheck. And off the tight formation, they fake an end around and give to Eddie George, who will wind up perhaps losing a yard against a very staunch Philadelphia Eagles defense. Darwin Walker from the University of Tennessee and the Arizona Cardinals replacing Hollis Thomas, out for the year with a foot injury. Levon Kirkland, he's the run stopper in the middle. Sean Barber, good speed, former Redskin at outside linebacker. And the secondary, Al Harris, starting in place of Troy Vincent and switching sides with the other cornerback, Bobby Taylor. Now, John Simon, the rookie from Louisiana Tech and a spark plug in camp, is in there now, and they're looking for Simon, and they've got him on the quick catch, and Simon getting to the Eagles' 44-yard line, tackled by Al Harris. So they get him in action early, Moose.
Well, he had such a great preseason that he forced the Tennessee Titans to create a package for him, and they're going to get him outside. They want to find out how the Philadelphia Eagles are going to match up with him. Will they send a linebacker out? Will they bring out a safety? And there you see Jim Johnson. That is going to be one of the problems that this new offense is going to pose to that defense.
Robert Holcomb in the backfield with Eddie George, split backs, and out of the shotgun on 3rd down and 4. McNair on a fake handoff to Holcomb, running for it. He's got the first down and running out of bounds at the Eagles' 35.
And that, to me, is where your mobile quarterback is at his best, is the 3rd down package. He just gives you so many opportunities. And watch as Steve McNair comes outside. Hugh Douglas bites on the fake. He breaks contain. Now he's got the run-throw option. That's a no-win situation for the Philadelphia Eagles. If you cover the wide receiver, Steve's going to pull it down and move the chains on you.
Eddie George, the setback. And a first down on the 35-yard line as the Titans in Eagle territory. First quarter, no score. And here is Eddie George cutting upfield. And Eddie George gets another first down. Pretty close to it at the 25-yard line with Dawkins and the linebacker Carlos Emmons and the Soldiers appreciating the Titans. That's what George did last year. First time in his career he did not gain 1,000 yards.
Yeah, and in those stats were a lot of career lows, but the one thing that Eddie talked about was he ran with uncertainty, and that was what the injury caused. What you're seeing today is a man running with purpose, and he's making those cuts that the toe and the ankle wouldn't allow him to last year. So this is going to be fun to watch him this afternoon.
Titans with an empty backfield on 2nd down and 1, under 9 minutes to go in the first quarter. And McNair with the short drop gets rid of it, and it's caught by Mason, and that will be a first down inside the Eagle 25-yard line. Sean Barber, so maybe you have to say no-name receivers out there for the Tennessee Titans, and McNair's getting a lot of mileage from them.
Well, you know, he likes the solid guy. He feels he doesn't need a superstar. He feels all of a sudden that there's competition for balls, and, you know, I'm not getting it enough, and all of a sudden you lose focus on the number one priority, which is winning football games. He's very happy with his group of receivers.
First down for the Tennessee Titans on the 20-yard line of the Eagles, already in field goal range. And a flag not thrown, and now they come down as Eddie George is hemmed in, and he is knocked back for a loss. And it's going to be an offsides penalty against the Eagles defense, very anxious. Referee today, Terry McCauley.
Offside. Defense. Number 97. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And that's the new face in the front four, Darwin Walker for Philadelphia.
Yeah, Steve McNair using that hard count to get this defense offsides. There you see Darwin Walker, number 97, coming into that neutral zone. And if you're a pressure defense, you are on your fingertips. You are ready to go, and they've got to be able to sit in there on that hard count.
So it'll be first down and 5 following the penalty for the Titans in a scoreless game. This time they fake it to George, and McNair looking to throw, and he's got Eddie George Lee, welcome back, number 27. I mean, he played last year, but he wasn't himself.
No, absolutely not. And that was a cut that Eddie George could not make last year. He catches a flat pass, he's running to the sideline, he makes the hard plant, cuts back inside 2 defenders, and gets into the end zone. He talked about running with uncertainty. He talked about the mental part it had on him. You can see a difference in the way he's playing. And this is a matchup that they're going to need to exploit. This is Eddie George versus Levon Kirkland in the passing game. Levon Kirkland was brought in for his run-stopping ability. They don't want to get him matched up with Eddie George.
And Joe Nedney with the extra point, and the Titans have taken a 7-0 lead. Eddie George gaining over 6 yards a carry and on the receiving end of a touchdown pass. Titans jump ahead of the Eagles, lead 7-0, and the greatest pennant race in recent history is underway. And when the dust clears, Fox is the place to see the postseason drama unfold. We've got all the action covered, starting with the division series, continuing through the dramatic ALCS and NLCS, culminating with the 2002 World Series, the baseball playoffs coming to Fox. Brian Mitchell returning for the Eagles. And Mitchell tackled at the 26-yard line by Mike Eccles. Eddie George spearheading the Titans' opening drive, resulting in a touchdown. And we'll return to the Coliseum in just a moment. Titans lead the Eagles 7-0. Dick Stockton, Darrell Johnston, Don Tollefson. John Welburn having his lower left leg x-rayed. Empty backfield, first down for Donovan McNabb. Big rush, and it was Carter who came in, and no one to defend him. Todd Pinkston, the intended receiver downfield, bringing up second down.
Well, what the Titans did was walk their linebackers up, draw the attention of the offensive line. You see him right there. That leaves Kevin Carter free on the outside. And fortunately for the Eagles, they had go routes on the outside, so Donovan had a place to go with the ball immediately. Right, he sure is living up to Coach Jeff Fisher's expectations. He's off to a great start this year.
And Andy Reid sees his team trailing, and Deuce Staley is the running back. Second down and 10 from the 26-yard line, and it's a fake handoff to Staley. McNabb has time, and he throws the out, and it's to Staley, and he is out of bounds. Tried to lunge for the first down and couldn't. Picked up about 7 with the linebacker Keith Bullock defending.
Right there, Donovan's trying to get the ball down the field again, but here's Kevin Carter, and one of the things that he has worked on in the offseason and getting healthy is being able to get upfield and get a push. One of the things that they thought was missing was that power part of his pass rush game. You can see him right there with the rip underneath and the turn right there. The turn and the angle back to the quarterback.
Only had 2 sacks last year. 3rd and 3, and again they spread it out. And McNabb falling back had no chance. He tripped going back, and the pressure from Carlos Hall. So the 7th-round draft pick out of Arkansas, putting the pressure on.
And they've got the linebackers walked up into the line of scrimmage. They're blocking down, and they're leaving the defensive end go free. Earlier it was Kevin Carter. This time it's Clarence Hall. They have got a blitz package right now that Philadelphia does not know how to pick up.
Eagles are befuddled offensively. And they've got a little problem on the defensive end as well, as Sean Landeta kicking to the rookie John Simon. Simon on the 15. Landeta with a great kick. And at 40, he's as good as ever. It's a fumble, and it's picked up. And let's see, it's Brian Mitchell who picks it up on the fumble, and the Eagles get a huge break. Brian Mitchell on the rookie's fumble will find himself at the 6-yard line of Tennessee.
This is a concern of Jeff Fisher's coming into this football game. He was worried about the sun, but he wasn't worried about ball security. You saw Brian Mitchell right there. He is such a veteran football player. John Simon was held up. He went and attacked the football. John Simon he's got to realize in the NFL, they come after the football. Watch right here. There goes Brian Mitchell. Steals it right out of his hands.
So Mitchell gets it done not only as a return man, but as a pickup fumble man. So it's 1st and goal at the 6 for the Eagles. And maybe this is what the wake-up call that McNabb and company need. McNabb fires, and it's tipped away A great defensive play made that time by Tank Williams, the rookie from Stanford, on the pass intended for the tight end Chad Lewis. And on top of all of that, holding called against the Eagles. So that will set the Eagles back, who are on the 6.
Holding. Offense. Number 22. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
And the running back, Deuce Staley.
Well, Deuce Staley, he's going to be right here. We'll keep an eye on him throughout this play. He comes out in the protection right there, takes him off his feet and to his back. Now, in the NFL, if you go to your back, they're going to call holding. I don't agree with that call.
Looked like a takedown in wrestling. Swing pass to Dorsey Levens, and the Titans are right there. Nothing on the play. Randall Godfrey, your old teammate in Dallas, who has been banged up but still has some speed and savvy.
Well, last season, another one of the Titans that was playing hurt. Randall Godfrey, a broken thumb. Then he had a dislocated wrist, and now he battled some cartilage. He also, like Eddie George, is healthy. And there you see him, inside out on Dorsey Levens. Randall's got great range sideline to sideline as a middle linebacker.
So Levens brought down. Second down and goal, back on the 18. And Antonio Freeman in motion to the left. McNabb up the middle, and the pass is caught for the touchdown to James Thrash. Coming off the career season, Thrash silences this Tennessee crowd with an 18-yard grab, and the turnover comes back to haunt the Titans, and it's now a 7-6 game.
Well, they just put a hush on this crowd right now, a chance to really get back into this football game. What a well-thrown ball by Donovan McNabb. Tank Williams actually in pretty good position on that throw. Donovan just put it into a place where only James Thrash could get to it.
So David Akers, truly one of the outstanding kickers in the National Football League, looking to tie this game. And he does, with 5.5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. It's the opening weekend in the NFL, and the Eagles have come back to tie the Titans 7-7. Coming up next, the second part of our doubleheader. Marshall Faulk leads the Rams against Brian Griese and the Broncos.
And the Rams finally get a chance to answer everybody's questions about what happened in the Super Bowl last year. It'll be interesting to see how they respond. I thought that was a team on the verge of a dynasty, but a couple of blown opportunities the last few years.
They struggled in preseason, but that was preseason, as Akers preparing to kick off, and John Simon. The back end, it is a onside kick. And the Eagles trying to go after it. So shades of the Dallas Cowboys of 2 years ago. And no signal yet.
Well, I don't think the ball went 10 yards.
Enough, yes.
Now, if one of the Titans came in and touched it inside of the 10 yards, then it becomes live. So we'll have to see if there was a touch by the Titans before it got to the 10 yards, which would allow the Eagles to recover it. You know, you got to have the moxie to call that play, but you've also got to execute it, and that is something that they have probably practiced time and time again. And as you pointed out, Dick, they executed it 2 years ago in the opening kickoff down in Dallas, and just unfortunately their poor execution.
Well, there's a penalty flag down. And here's the explanation from Terry McAulay.
The ball was touched first by number 59 of the receiving team. The ball was then recovered legally by the kicking team. First down, Philadelphia.
Wow, so the Philadelphia Eagles get the ball, and let's go back, as you mentioned, opening day 2000, the onside kick by David Akers against the Dallas Cowboys was recovered, and the Eagles won the game 41-14, and that sparked what was a turnaround year from the Eagles, who went from 5-11 to 11-5. And so David Akers gets it done again. Not quite the same, but Philadelphia has it on their 39.
Yeah, he needed a little help from Peter Sermon on that one, but you see there at the surprise kick, 75%.
Tennessee has challenged the ruling on the field that the ball was touched first.
All right, Jeff Fisher says, wait a minute, and he is going to challenge to see whether the ball was touched. If it was not, then Tennessee would get the ball since it did not go 10 yards.
Well, that's going to be the big key right there. Is it touched by number 59, Peter Sermon? everybody's downfield blocking. Now, David is waiting to get the ball. You know, it's so hard to see.
Tell.
It's like a scrum in rugby right there. You know, they're coming up to knock David Akers out of the way so he can't recover it. You know, as we've talked about, just kind of a poorly executed play. The return team is down blocking. I think if Peter Sirmon touched it, I think he was blocked into it by one of the Philadelphia Eagles.
And remember, it has to be indisputable visual evidence to change the call on the field. And the call will be made by Terry McCauley as he views the replay upstairs. So our first challenge of the season.
He's on to the backup monitor because the first one that he went to didn't have any color on it. So we'll have a backup monitor on the field, so we might have a little bit longer delay here. Now watch the guys on the kick team. They're going to go down. They're going to block everybody out of the way to allow David Akers to get it. I don't think Peter Sirmon touched that ball. I think he went over the top of it. You know, that's a judgment call by a player on the field. I'm sure that Jeff Fisher would like everybody away from it if the ball is short, but you don't know if it's going to get that additional roll. It was right at 9 yards. It has to travel those 10 yards, but that angle there, it looked as though Peter Sirmon might have went over the top and not touched it.
What do you need color? I don't understand that. I mean, you know, one team is wearing white, Tennessee, and the other team is wearing the dark shirts. In 1947, they didn't have color television. Or 46. I wouldn't remember that. Indisputable visual evidence. In other words, is there evidence on the replay to show that Peter Sirmon did not touch the ball? That is really what issue here, at issue here.
And this is the best angle that we've had so far. And Peter Sirmon is going to come in from the left side of your screen. And let's try and see if he goes over the top right there. Because it looks as though number 58, Ike Reese, kind of falls in between Peter Sirmon and the ball and kind of made like a little buffer so he couldn't touch that.
So Tennessee looking sharp with Eddie George healthy, but special teams mistakes the last two times. John Simon unable to handle that kick, and the Eagles get a gift and eventually tie the game. And now all of a sudden, if Tennessee indeed touched the ball, giving the Eagles new life on their own 39 on the kickoff. And talk about news of injury. You heard from Don Tollison on Javon Curse. The news is not good at all for left guard John Welburn, who suffered a fractured left fibula. So the Eagles, who have already lost Hollis Thomas on the defensive side, now have lost John Welburn, their left guard. Now here comes Terry McCauley.
After review, there's no indisputable visual evidence of who touched the ball first. The ruling on the field stands. First down, Philadelphia.
Jeff Fisher shaking his head. It was the judgment call ultimately that decided this.
And as you said, Dick, it has to be irrefutable proof. I mean, it has to be clear-cut, and from the angles we saw, there's still a lot of uncertainty on those, so the call will stand.
And the Titans lose a timeout here in the first half.
Tennessee is charged with their first team timeout.
So Jeff Fisher, things look rosy early, but then a couple of mistakes, and the Eagles in a tie game will have a first down on the Titans' 39-yard line with 5:20 remaining in the first quarter.
And you have to give your hats off to John Harbaugh, the special teams coach for the Philadelphia Eagles. For years, that was an area where they needed a tremendous amount of improvement. A lot of people talk about the resurgence of the Eagles and look at Donovan McNabb and other areas, but we've already seen today a big play on the punt coverage team, now a surprise onside kick. He was voted by his peers last year as the best special teams coach in the league, so that is an area that they have really, really upgraded themselves.
Yeah, it was Rashard Cook, by the way, a very active, hard-hitting player who forced that fumble by Simon, enabling Brian Mitchell to recover. Brian Westbrook in the lineup, the rookie from Villanova, and a good-looking rookie at that, will get the handoff on first down, and there is the burst And Westbrook picking up nearly 8 yards on the play. Right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick and Darrell, it was a breakout year for Marty Booker last year. Take a look here as it keeps it going. Jim Miller stepping up into the pocket, finding Booker for the touchdown. 7-3, Chicago over Minnesota. And Arizona, after Shane Matthews' turnover, capitalizes on this keeper by the Snake. It is now 10-3 Arizona over Washington. Back to Dick and Darrell.
All right, thank you very much, JB. Second down and 3. Dorsey Levens has come in the running back. A lot of heat, a lot of changes. And there is McNabb. Drills it, and Thrash holding on to make the catch and a first down to the Tennessee 40-yard line. Samari Roll on the coverage of Thrash, who caught the Eagle touchdown moments ago.
And right there, that's an audible by Donovan McNabb. Here comes James Thrash in on the inside route. What a well-thrown ball right there by Donovan McNabb. He really had to fit that one into some tight quarters. And he audibled to that play. And that is one of the areas that Andy Reid, the head coach, wants him to expand and improve on in his 4th year in this West Coast offense.
So the 14-yard pickup giving the Eagles a first down in Titan territory. And they're going to Thrash again. And covering downfield was Andre Dyson. And that's one of the areas you might think the Eagles would want to work on. The second-year starter, Andre Dyson.
But according to everybody at Tennessee, he had one of the best camps of any of the defensive players this year. He really fought a lot of injuries last year as a rookie, was not allowed to get into the scheme. This year, in his second year, understands what defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz is looking for, a better comprehension of the defense, and now he's just relying on his ability as a football player on the field and not thinking.
Second and 10 with 3:32 remaining in the first. Thrash going in motion. And here's the screen pass, and it is caught by Deuce Staley, and Staley with another first down. So I guess that amounts to a running play for the Eagles, Moose.
You know, they've done a few different things with the running game, you know, bringing in 4 wide receivers, you know, spreading them out and trying to hit a seam, but they have a lot of different ways to get into what they consider the running game, and definitely right here, the little short dump off to Deuce Staley. Yeah, you know, the short passing game for the Eagles sometimes does substitute as the run game.
They picked up 16 yards. Staley used more as a receiver as the season wore on. First down for Philadelphia. McNair with a deep drop, and he completes the pass to Tom Pigston. And another Eagle first down, so perhaps the mistakes by the Titans special teams allowing the Eagles to get in rhythm. That good for 17 yards.
A well-designed play here. James Thrash going down the hash right there. He opens up the inside for Todd Pinkston on an in route right there. And Donovan McNabb is doing a very nice job of delivering the ball. And this offensive line, you can question what they do in the run game, but they're very good at pass protection.
Doug Brzezinski, of course, in there for Welburn, who suffered a fractured fibula. First and goal at the 7. The flip inside to Deuce Staley. Touchdown, Eagles. So the shuffle pass. McNabb to Deuce Staley, and the Eagles have taken a 13-7 lead.
Well, Andy Reid was not kidding when he said that they will not be vanilla in the opener. Right here, the little shovel pass to Deuce Staley. Well, they just baited Peter Sermon to come right to Donovan McNabb, and he just flipped it underneath to Deuce Staley, and he almost goes in untouched.
So the Eagles coming back from that 7-0 deficit, and David Akers for the extra point. Eagles were 7-1 on the road last year, and they have taken a 14-7 lead in their opener here. And when you go on the road and you take the lead in the first quarter, you can silence what was a rabid crowd early on. That's what Philly has done. And the Eagles scoring drive, 6 plays, 61 yards. They got the break when Sermon had touched the ball on the kickoff. McNabb was 4 for 5 on the drive for 54 yards. And Deuce Staley capping it with a 7-yard touchdown reception. Simon is back, and David Akers will kick off for Philadelphia. And a solemn crowd right now. Here's Simon at the goal line returning. He's got good speed, and Simon gets to the 22-yard line as flags fly from upfield. And it'll go against the Titans.
During return, holding receiving team, number 84, 10-yard penalty, first down.
So Shad Meyer holding on the play, and Steve McNair will now
Correction,
have
half
to
the distance to the goal.
start after the half the distance marked off at the 10-yard line against this Philadelphia defense.
More special teams miscues by the Tennessee Titans, just really giving them very few opportunities to get anything going offensively right now.
Putting them in a hole, Moose, after the Titans looked so impressively on both sides of the ball. But here is McNair with George and Camella the blocker as the up back. Eddie George looking for running room, going wide, and down he goes. And Corey Simon penetrating nicely in the Titans backfield, and a loss on the play. 4 yards.
Corey Simon just beats Gennaro DiNapoli right across his face and gets a field. Look at the size of that guy's size. You wonder why things happen. He's going to be right here on the play, and just watch him get across the face of the center. They lose the fullback back inside, and Eddie's got nowhere to run.
So things go from bad to worse for the Titans. Second down and 14. And going in motion is Greg Camella. Camella, a decent receiver on the screen pass. They go to Robert Holcomb. Holcomb coming out and getting the first down. What a smart play call that time. And Eddie George is slowed up, a little limp from the previous play.
And we'll try and take a look at what happened to Eddie George. Right there, you can see the ankle getting trapped on the tackle as he goes down. That's why Robert Holcomb was in on that last screenplay. And boy, we've talked about it the whole first part of this broadcast, that Eddie is finally back, finally 100%, the best he's felt in 2 years, and he already gets gimped up as we start this as we get ready to finish the first quarter.
Minute 10 and running. Gain of 17 yards, and the Titans get out of deep trouble. McNair with the empty backfield and going up the middle, and the pass is caught by the big backup tight end Aaron Kinney. And somebody loses a shoe in the process, and Kinney giving the Titans a first down at the 48-yard line, a pickup of 25.
And this is a guy that they have been waiting on to have a breakout year, Aaron Kinney. He's a big physical tight end, but his strength is running routes. He gets a matchup right there with Sean Barber, and as you pointed out, Dick, he ran right out of his shoe. Good concentration and focus on that reception.
Well, he got downfield for a 285-pounder. Holcomb remains in the lineup, the former St. Louis Ram, and he will get to carry here. And he drives into Eagle territory, and that should be the last play of the first quarter. Hugh Douglas making the tackle as time will run out. So the early enthusiasm of the crowd dampened as Andy Reid's Eagles, taking advantage of Titan mistakes, will have the lead as time runs out. That is the end of the first quarter here at the Coliseum in Nashville with the score: the Eagles 14, the Titans 7. Fox NFL Sunday from Nashville will continue after these messages. We begin the second quarter. The Eagles in front of the Titans 14-7. And the Titans, second down and 6 on the Eagle 48-yard line. Eddie George is back in there. Good news for the Titans. And here is McNair. And McNair finds an open Frank Wycheck down the middle, and a first down to the 35-yard line. And a gain of 13 yards. Blaine Bishop, the former Titan, on the tackle. Anything strike you here, Moose?
Well, you know, it is a really an even game. The only difference is right there, that turnover, and we have a 7-point advantage by the Eagles. Those 7 points coming off that fumble on the punt. Frank Wycheck, a guy that defensive coordinator Jim Johnson was really worried about. One of the things that he will look at in his pressure package makes him pay right there in one of the blitzes, one of the few blitzes we've seen today.
And they may be coming in again, but really not so. And this pass is knocked down, and a catch is made. Derek Mason, Al Harris all over. Very tough catch by Mason, leaving him about a yard short of the first down. So McNair early here in the second quarter will have second down and 1. McNair has completed all 8 of his passes for 111 yards and a touchdown toss. Off to a terrific start. And coming off a brilliant year. You see Minnesota leading Chicago. All the scores will be posted there throughout the day. And coming in and a big push, Paul Grasmanis giving McNair a shove. McNair can handle it. He's big enough. Darryl.
Encroachment. Defense. Number 96. 5-yard penalty.
And that's a first down.
First down.
And before the next play, let's check in with James Brown for a game break. JB.
Dick and Darryl, Michael Vick has been loosening up Green Bay with his feet. 34 yards rushing on this drive. 2 here to pay dirt. Ward Dunn added a 40-yarder. And as you recall, Green Bay's only loss at home last year was to Atlanta. They're trailing by 11 right now. Back to Dick and Darryl.
New owner, new regime, huh?
Interesting.
So a first down for the Titans on the Eagle penalty. And there is McNair getting time, and McNair going to the corner, and the pass is caught and run by Derek Mason, and now out of bounds. Derek Mason was covered by Al Harris, and they rule it incomplete right at the 1-yard line.
And Steve McNair just needed to deliver this ball a little bit sooner to give him more room, and you can see very clearly right there it wasn't close. I was going to say, what a heck of a job walking the sideline if he pulled that one in. But Steve needed to deliver that ball just a little bit sooner to Derek Mason.
Hey, we have a couple of quarterbacks today with strong arms and can hit those outs. So the incomplete pass, bringing up second down and 10. Extra tight ends, and the blitz appearing, and the blitz looks fumble as Eddie George on the handoff, and the Titans recover. So the blitz actually got to Eddie George before he got the ball, it seemed.
And this is the area that Jim Johnson wanted to attack, right here in the center. You see Levon Kirkland and Brian Dawkins coming into the same gap. Miscommunication, couldn't get somebody down. Almost a huge play by Brian Dawkins, but both guys really kind of coming free right there. And that is an area that he was looking at. So maybe now we finally got a feel for what Jim Johnson would not tell us in our meetings with him. It looks as though he's going to attack Gennaro DiNapoli in that center position.
He's like a mad scientist as you take another look, and Dawkins knocking it out, and Eddie George making the recovery. Drew Bennett, an impressive receiver, wearing number 83, lining up to the top of your picture, and Bennett might have jumped. And we'll see if they call a false start penalty against the Titans, and that's what it is.
Prior to the snap, false start, offense. Number 83, 5-yard penalty, third down.
So Drew Bennett, a little antsy, called for the 5-yard false start.
Well, I tell you, one way to get a team from not to blitz you anymore is to hit a big play. The reverse is the exact same thing. If Tennessee can't do something right now to get a positive play, because this is really the first time that we've seen Jim Johnson start to put pressure on this offense, and he's been successful both times. They've got to do something, or they're going to see a heavy dose of this the rest of the afternoon.
He's a mad scientist when it comes to blitzing from all angles at any point. So third down, 21. Back at the 32-yard line for McNair. McNair, who can run. He has a man underneath, but he's going to run himself, and McNair, head down, gets inside the 15-yard line, or about the 15. And a gain of 17 yards on the play. Sheldon Brown, the rookie nickel corner today, with the injury to Troy Vincent. So fourth down coming in, and Joe Nedney will try to narrow the Eagles' advantage.
76 over here.
Nedney will attempt this from 32 yards. Those are his numbers from a year ago. And Nedney puts his leg to it. The kick is good. And the Titans now trail by 4, 14-10 to the Eagles in the first 5 minutes of the second quarter.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by WebMD, the place America comes for healthcare answers. By Energizer, do you have the buddy inside? By Chili's, like no place else. And by Autotrader.com, with the most certified pre-owned vehicles. It's the ultimate automotive classified site.
Back here in Tennessee, a bit cloudy right now, and cloudy for the Titans, but they've come back with the 33-yard field goal officially as Brian Mitchell and Damian Douglas go back deep. Joe Nedney kicking off for Tennessee. And it's Brian Mitchell deep in the end zone, and he will let the Eagles bring it out to the 20-yard line. 4 minutes have elapsed in the second quarter. Philadelphia by 4. Try and count the stars. You should have 50 stars. You have to have 50 stars on a flag, and I only count about 5. But we understand. The Eagles from the 20-yard line. Dorsey Levens is in the backfield, and Antonio Friedman, 2 former Packers. McNabb with 2 touchdown passes already in a 14-10 Philadelphia game. Another empty backfield and the quick slant, and this pass is caught close to the first down by Antonio Freeman. Well, it's Green Bay East, I guess. You know, Andy Reid comes over, Moose, to coach this team the last couple of years, and he certainly likes the addition of Freeman and Dorsey Levens with his team this year.
Well, he brought in some veterans from teams that have been to a Super Bowl, and that's going to come in and play its place during the course of the season. At some point, Philadelphia will have a stretch where things aren't going well. It'll be good to have Dorsey Levens and Antonio Freeman, Levon Kirkland, Blaine Bishop to be there to keep everybody focused.
Second down and 1. Deuce Staley slips away from one defender and gets the first down. So Staley, healthy as he can be. Remember, he missed a season with that Lee Frank ankle surgery and problem. Thornton was a guy who had him and then lost him.
He's tackled in the backfield for a loss. And this is the thing about Deuce Staley. This is his second year return from the injury. Now, last year, Deuce Staley was healthy, but he wasn't himself. You're never as good that first year back. This will be the big season for Deuce Staley coming off that injury.
First down for the Eagles on their 35-yard line, and play action for McNabb. McNabb goes underneath, completes again to Staley, and he ducks under a defender and gets about 8 yards on that play.
Again, the one thing Donovan McNabb talked about is patience and dropping the ball underneath, taking your opportunities on the outside when you're there. And you can see that, the perfect example right here. Look at the strength he's got. He's got the one hand on the ball. A defensive lineman comes in, bumps into him, doesn't phase him, drops the ball down to Deuce. He's off to a very good start this afternoon.
Keith Bullock missed the tackle, so it'll be second down and 2. Brian Westbrook with Thrash in motion, and on the pitch here is Westbrook, the rookie from Villanova, and to be denied by Randall Godfrey, who slices through and makes the play. And bringing up third down.
Randall Godfrey's going to be coming from the top in the middle of the screen, and that is the range that he has. Look at him fight across, finds his way. He does, whether it's on the blitz or running through defenders on traffic, he always finds his way to the football. And right there, that was difficult. There was a lot of people in that way. It looked like he just came straight clean through.
Third down and 1. And the crowd getting into it on its feet. Make a handoff, and McNabb to Lewis, and he holds onto it for the first down. Chad Lewis. And you were talking about how they had to get the tight end in action with Tank Williams doing as good a defensive job as he could on that play. A pickup of 17.
And especially if you've got the matchup that they have right there with Tank Williams on Chad Lewis. And that was a double move route. He broke to the outside, then went up the field. And this is a guy that they've definitely got to get back into the offense. And that's why Todd Pinkston and James Thrash and Antonio Freeman have got to have big seasons outside so they can free him up in the middle.
From the 39-yard line, and another play action. And here's McNabb, guns it, and it's incomplete. The pass was intended for Freddie Mitchell, and Andre Dyson covering on the play, bringing up second down and 10.
Well, Donovan McNabb got away with one right there. We just talked about his patience, and a couple plays later, he's trying to force one in where he shouldn't have. And that's just a question of Andre Dyson not being used to the speed that Donovan has on the football. Well, that thing was, and he will fit a ball. He has told the guys, hey, if it's tight, I'm still coming to you, but it's going to be coming in hard. Andre Dyson wasn't aware of that.
That came in hard. 2 tight end formation for the Eagles. And McNabb will talk it over.
First
And the Eagles with their first timeout with 7:40 remaining in the first quarter. A year ago, Andy Reid's Eagles lose at home to the St. Louis Rams, looking to start this year off on the right foot. We'll be right back. 14-10 Philadelphia. Talking to Andy Reid yesterday, Moose, he said the two things I'm concerned with, noise and the heat, especially the heat.
Yeah, and they've got the dark green jerseys on, and they've gone back to a previous opener down in Dallas. They've got the pickle juice back on the sidelines for the Philadelphia Eagles to help them recover.
I've never quite tried that yet. Second down and 10, and hit from behind by Carlos Hall. So Carlos Hall having to play with the injured Javon Curse, who suffered a sprained foot, is coming up big here.
Carlos Hall coming from the bottom, working on Trey Thomas. He gets upfield on him right away and does a nice job right here of turning. I don't know how Donovan McNabb held on to that football. That is just incredible strength in his hands.
And a loss on the play of 6 yards, so it'll be third down and 16. The Eagles on the Tennessee 44. And McNabb on the run, drills it, and the pass caught by Antonio Freeman. And that's the first time that McNabb and Freeman have hooked up. They did not in the preseason, and they do here to the tune of 31 yards and an Eagle first down inside the Titan 15.
Well, you know, it's kind of hard because this is a chemistry that needs to be built over time. Antonio's going to be working the slot, but what happens is when the play breaks down and the quarterback scrambles, you'll develop a feel with reps. But as you pointed out, they didn't get a chance to work together in the preseason, and that is very promising for the Eagles to have that feel of where you're going to go to get open and how to deliver the ball.
Freeman with 7 solid years in Green Bay and a first down. McNabb trying to take off, and he's going to fire it down, and the crowd is yelling for a grounding call, but this is one of the new rules this year where you're allowed to throw the ball at the feet.
But an eligible receiver has to be in the direction and vicinity of the attempted pass. So it looks as though they're marking it where he was, saying he was down.
Kevin Carter and the rookie Albert Hainsworth.
Defensive player.
And they adjust the play clock now with clock running. Let's see it again.
I think they're saying that Donovan McNabb was down or in the grass before he was able to throw that ball. Obviously, he's not.
He's down now.
He's down and out almost.
Well, he's been sacked twice, but it's the hits and the hurries that also bother you. Second down and 18. And McNabb and the pass throw behind Freeman, but he makes the catch. Antonio Freeman, and what an inside threat he's going to be. And Andy Reid said maybe the greatest third down slot receiver he's ever seen.
What a fantastic catch this is. He's moving to his right, and the ball comes in on the back left shoulder. You don't teach people that. That's just skills that a guy has.
A 14-yard gain. How about his credentials in a 7-year career? 57 touchdown catches. Maybe they're looking for him here. Third down and 4 on the Titans' 7-yard line. And McNabb drills it, and the pass in the end zone, touchdown, and it's Chad Lewis. Chad Lewis with a catch on another bullet throw, a 7-yard toss. And McNabb with his third touchdown pass of the first half.
Wow. This is just another one. I don't know how he's fitting these balls into these areas. This is coming 100 miles an hour. There's, 3-4 Tennessee Titans right around Chad Lewis?
Akers is on, and the Eagles trying to open up an 11-point lead with 5:03 to go in the first half, and the extra point is good. The Eagles 21, the Titans 10.
You can see Chad Lewis right there. He gets it past Clarence Hall's arm, and then he gets it in between Lance Schulters, Randall Godfrey, Tank Williams, and about 3 other guys.
Touchdown passes to 3 different receivers for McNabb. That time it was Lewis. Philadelphia Eagles opening up a 21-10 lead over the Tennessee Titans with 5:03 to go. Donovan McNabb to Chad Lewis 7 yards. McNabb was 6 of 7 on that scoring drive as the Eagles went 80 yards. John Simon ready to receive the kick from David Akers, and coming up to meet it is Simon at the 7. Simon looking for an opening, and it closes quickly at the 25.
Now on this play, here's Chad Lewis. He's going to catch it. Here's Randall Godfrey. I want you to watch Randall. When Donovan McNabb steps to his right to buy himself a little time, watch Randall step to his left right there. That gives you that little throwing lane that he was able to fit the ball into Chad Lewis with.
So Chad Lewis, who, according to the Eagles, has improved his run blocking. We always knew, of course, that he was an outstanding receiver. The Eagles have a good thing going here when you look at the fact that they have won their last 20 games when they have scored 21 points or more. First down at the 25-yard line. Kevin Dyson in motion with 2 tight ends. The fake handoff, and here is McNair, and the flag is down. Eddie George on the reception, and George ridden out of bounds by Carlos Evans. It'll be a first down for Tennessee unless the flag goes against them, and it will.
Right now, it's just Tennessee mistakes that are keeping them out of this football game. It's amazing that they find themselves down by 11 right now the way they have played.
Holding. Offense, number 72. 10-yard penalty. First down.
So the left tackle Brad Hopkins holding on the play, wiping out a 17-yard gain. So now all of a sudden the Titans and Steve McNair backed up. They'll be starting from their own 15. And scores from around the league, and you'll be seeing it on the right part of your screen. Miami leading Detroit 21-7 late in the second quarter. Barry Gardner is in at middle linebacker, number 52 for the Eagles. Levon Kirkland started, and the handoff to Eddie George, nothing doing.
And this defense is tough to begin with, but when you get yourself into 1st and 20 positions, you've really put yourself up against the 8 ball, and they have got to stay together. They have played well in this first half up until this point. It's just the mistakes that they're making, and they have just got to get something turned around. They need something positive to try and get some momentum back.
And Eddie George wants to get it turned around. First 3 carries look good. Last 3 carries has lost 10 yards. And I think those 2 mistakes on the special teams have really been a black cloud over Tennessee.
Oh, it totally has changed the game since that point. The crowd is out of it right now.
Eddie George is lined up as a receiver wide to the right, and this is ugly. False start against the Titans. So they are out of sync at this point with 3:47.
Prior to the snap, false start. Offense, number 69. 5-yard
Well, this time it's Zach Pillar. So Hopkins on one play with a hold, and Pillar with a false start. And I tell you, Jim Johnson can get under your skin.
Well, you know, he's going to create some plays, but he's also going to create this, the uncertainty of the offense. They're going to be flinching. They'll get some illegal procedures. It's everything. He's not just putting pressure on the quarterback. He's putting pressure on all 11 guys on the offensive side of the ball.
Second down and 25. Back to the 10-yard line. And McNair with a wide receiver screen to Kevin Dyson. And Dyson getting some of it back. Still a long way to go for the Titans as they face a 3rd and forever with Sean Barber making the stop.
I give Kevin Dyson a lot of credit. You catch a wide receiver screen, and all of a sudden you've got to cut back into the field of play where all your pursuit is coming from. Yikes.
Jim Johnson, who said the Titans would do well against a blitzing team, and they haven't really shown their entire repertoire, have they?
No, they haven't. Oh, and when they have, though, it has been very successful.
3rd down and 19. And again, movement on the line, and this time it looked like Fred Miller. Everyone wants to get into the act on the Tennessee offensive line for committing some sort of penalty, it appears.
Now we got tempers flaring with Hugh Douglas and Brad Hopkins.
So Hopkins, Pillar, and now here's Miller.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Now the crowd's frustrated.
It has been a 180-degree turn since their opening drive of the game.
second charge timeout, Tennessee. It will be a 30-second timeout.
And Eddie George and Al Harris with a little skirmish off to the side of the action. Meanwhile, the Titans have called their second timeout.
There was the other one behind the line of scrimmage, so a lot of frustration out there right now on the part of the Tennessee Titans, and they've got to maintain their composure and not do anything that's going to put them back even farther than they are right now.
I have a hunch, and I'm not going to go out on a limb. I think Jeff Fisher may be a little upset in the locker room at halftime.
That's a pretty strong limb you just walked out on, Dick. I think that's called a trunk.
I don't want to commit myself, but he has to be livid with the way this team, the Airs, have really come out of the balloon ever since those mistakes.
Oh, a great start. I mean, they had control of the game. The crowd was in it. Then they have the fumbled punt, the onside kick that backfired against them when it looked like they had recovered it. And since that point, they have allowed Philadelphia after that to have success offensively.
Donovan McNabb, 3 touchdown passes already. So 3rd down and 24. And now the Eagles are showing blitz.
Right over the center again.
And they pull back somewhat and going deep downfield to Bennett and just past his outstretched hands. Drew Bennett and Sheldon Brown forced to play the nickel corner today with Al Harris starting and Troy Vincent out, and they wanted to go deep to Bennett. Didn't go, and 4th down coming up for the Titans.
Oh, and this is just overthrown right there. Drew Bennett, what a great job of running through the ball and then leaving your feet at the last possible second. He did everything he possibly could, just a little bit overthrown by Steve McNair right there.
So Craig Hentrick punting for the first time today from 2 yards in the end zone. And Brian Mitchell is back. Terrific kick by Hentrick. Better than that, a great kick. And Mitchell on the return, very dangerous. Flag is down, and Mitchell will be tackled at the 43-yard line. So the Eagles may not get the kind of field position they envisioned. That was a 56-yard punt by Craig Hentrick. And this will be a flag against the Eagles, bringing it back. Hentrick, by the way, a former Packer in his own right.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Receiving team, number 42, 10-yard penalty, 1st down.
Rashard Cook with the flag, number 42.
Rashard Cook is going to be called on that. That right there, you see him on Eddie Berlin. Use a little bit of smarts out there, Rashard. You've got good field position. Don't do anything silly. He was by you. Just let him go.
But Rashard Cook did cause that fumble by John Simon earlier in the game that gave the Eagles really a life. It was a wake-up call for them. Mitchell recovered. They got to the 6-yard line, and ultimately McNabb hit James Thrash, and that started. 17-point thrust for Philadelphia. 1st down on the 31 of the Eagles. 2:23 to go. And the screen pass off the hands of Deuce Staley. Eagles, by the way, still with 2 timeouts remaining.
And they are content to just continue throwing the football. One of the things that I really feel the Eagles need to do to take that next step is to get a running game that kind of puts a little bit of fear into your opponent. But right now, look at that, 5 rushes, 22 passes. And the ones that they have run from, a lot of those have been 3 and 4 wide receiver sets. So they're not lining up and scaring anybody with their run game.
Well, Terrell Buckhalter was their running back of choice down the stretch, suffered the torn ACL in minicamp, so they miss him. And on play action, here is McNabb drilling it out of bounds. Thrash was the man he wanted to go to, and Andre Dyson was on the coverage.
And I think that this team could be so good at play action if they would get that running game incorporated into their game plan, especially with the threat that Donovan McNabb poses on the perimeter. And right there, if you're going to fake some handoffs inside to Deuce Staley and Dorsey Levens and your running backs, but there's no threat that you're going to give it to them, I'm going to be expecting you to pull that ball out and throw it down the field.
But make no mistake, Andy Reid is a passing coach. He wants to throw the ball. 3rd down and 10. And again, the crowd, not much to cheer about lately, on its feet. 3rd and 10 from the 31. And the tip ball by Carlos Hall. What a find he is is, and taken on the last round out of Arkansas, the 7th pick, Carlos Hall, forced to play with Javon Curse injured.
And he is really taking advantage of a great opportunity today. Chad Lewis tries to chop him down right there on the screen. Defensive ends are so athletic in the NFL today that you better do more than just throw with their feet. They can jump over you, avoid you. You've got to get more of a piece in that.
Here is Sean Landeta to kick, and Derek Mason goes back deep for the Titans. So they've taken the rookie out right now, and a high kick, and the fair catch signaled. And the ball bouncing and will go inside the 30 where it will be down. And the Titans have just under 2 minutes remaining and 1 timeout left to see if they can muster some points. Eric Morris going into the locker room early. 2-minute warning. We'll be back. Coming up on the Visa Halftime Report, JB, Terry Howie, and special guest Jimmy Johnson will have scores and highlights from around the league on this opening kickoff weekend. And the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats. So the Titans get a chance here, Moose, because the Eagles had a 25-second possession with an 11-point lead because they're not running the ball.
Well, you throw 3 incomplete, you're not taking a whole lot of time off the clock, and that had to be one of the concerns coming into the regular season was they really struggled with their third downs and also their 3 and outs going back even into last season.
Robert Holcomb lining up in the backfield, 1st and 10 on the 27. McNair, the blitz is on, and the screen pass to Holcomb, and Holcomb fumbles it, and the Eagles try to get possession before it goes out of bounds. And they do. Philadelphia gets it back, and it's Sean Barber picking it up. Sean Barber on the recovery, so Holcomb fumbles after the screen pass reception.
And Hugh Douglas comes all the way around, continues to play, and makes the tackle right there that forces the ball out. That is great hustle down the field. These guys are always moving to the football, and again, they are attacking the center of the line of scrimmage. That time, Sheldon Brown comes free. And on the hit, Robert Holcomb is still down on the field, so we'll have to check in and see how he's doing. He's the guy carrying the ball right here. Oh, Hugh Douglas, that's just a big man chasing you down from behind, putting a big hit on you.
I'll tell you, as you see Holcomb being worked on the field, that Sean Barber did a good job after Andy Kalu was not able to corral the football. It very nearly went out of bounds, and Barber very alertly made the recovery. And Jeff Fisher is out to see them work on the left
They don't
leg.
like to see that. Sometimes that means looks like now they're stretching right now, but you don't like to see when they start testing the structural integrity of that knee. And there's a class act Donovan McNabb coming over, checking on an opponent. That's why he's one of the most respected guys in the NFL, not only as a player but as a person.
Well, you saw the graphic, so not only is Holcomb shaken up, but the turnover, 2nd of the game.
Oh, it looks like they're looking at his hip, Dick.
For Tennessee. And we'll take a timeout. Eagles get it back on the fumble, and Donovan McNabb trying to add to the Eagle lead, starting from the 30, giving ground and firing it out of bounds. And a flag is down. And that penalty will go against the Tennessee Titans. John Thornton chasing Donovan McNabb.
Personal foul. Roughing a passer. Defense. Number 78. Extension of the arms.
Roughing the passer, the call against John Thornton.
15-yard penalty. First down.
Said something about the extension of the arm, so we'll see if he just gives him a big shove.
It was a hard shove.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's one of the things that they watch on the field, and I agree with a lot of people. You know, you've got to let the guys play, but you also, as a player, have to know, especially with this crew, who is notorious for throwing a lot of flags, that you're going to call a very, very tight football game.
Jeff Fisher is going crazy, but you know, one of the big priorities protecting the quarterback in this league. So as a result of the flag, it'll be a first down on the 15 of Tennessee. Here's Deuce Staley up the middle, and he is hit and tackled by Carlos Hall from behind, but he picks up nearly 5 yards on the play. And so there is Holcomb, who was just helped off moments ago.
And it looks as though as he gets tackled, watch his left leg right there. Gets tucked under him in an awkward spot. You can see it kind of folded up on him right there. That leg must have gone up and jammed his hip, because we saw him as they were moving, trying to get some flexibility in the hip and checking his the hip area.
Titans had to use that timeout in the last 2 minutes due to injury. They're out of them. Thomason going in motion, and there's a pump fake by McNabb, and the pass incomplete, and it looked catchable for Chad Lewis in the back of the end zone, Moose.
Oh, he knows he let one get away right there, and that's Chad Lewis working against Tank Williams, and this is the chemistry that I'm talking about with Donovan McNabb and a receiver he spent time with. Watch where he throws this ball. Back hip. That's just great feel between those guys. Chad Lewis knows that he just missed one right there.
Lewis catching a touchdown pass for the last score for the Eagles. Donovan McNabb with 3rd down and 7 on the 12-yard line of the Titans. Freeman going in motion. And this pass is knocked away and nearly intercepted. It was intended for Lewis. And it was Andre Dyson who broke it up. So 4th down coming up, and the virtually perfect David Akers coming in to try a field goal.
Watch Dorsey Levens on the pass protection right here. He steps up. That's Lance Schulters coming in. Boom. Stones him. That's why he's in there in that personnel group. Not only for his ability to catch the ball on the checkdowns, but a veteran who knows blitzing schemes and can do a great job in protection.
Akers attempting a 30-yard field goal. And David Akers, and the kick is good. So with 48 seconds remaining in the first half, the Eagles now stretch their lead to 24-10. Well, Fox NFL Sunday returns next week when J.B. Terry and Howie welcome special guest John Elway. The future Hall of Famer will tell our guys who he thinks are the elite quarterbacks in the game today. It helps break down next week's games. It all starts at noon next week. Noon Eastern, 9 Pacific, followed by exciting NFL action, as most of you will see. The Giants take on the Rams.
And that's going to be very interesting to get a player of John Elway's caliber's views on what the quarterback position has become in today's NFL game. And we saw a lot of that on the pregame show about the pocket passer versus the new generation mobile quarterback. And that'd be a lot of fun to see what John has to say about that.
And as we said, as you look at Steve McNair, it's very interesting to see what Jeff Fisher has to say about this first half, because the Eagles taking advantage of the second turnover, and there have been other mistakes as well by the Titans. John Simon going back deep. And all of a sudden, the Titans find themselves trailing these Eagles by 2 touchdowns, as Philadelphia getting 10 of them off of the turnovers.
Yeah, and you play a good football team, the last thing you can do is have mistakes. And I know that they had a real great feel coming into this game, the Tennessee Titans, but you've still got to come out and not beat yourself, especially against a quality opponent.
You got to execute. You got to play well. Tennessee did early, but they haven't for a while. And Akers will kick off. Simon going back deep. Here's John Simon, undrafted, unheralded, on the return for the Titans, and he takes it out to the 25-yard line, where Damian Douglas makes the tackle. So 43 seconds remain, and the Titans have no timeouts left.
No timeouts left, and the way things have gone for the Tennessee Titans, especially on that last drive, Jeff Fisher might be content to just get into the locker room and try and regroup and not take a chance on another mistake happening.
First down on the 25-yard line. Eddie George is the setback. McNair stepping up, and he's going deep, and the pass, no flag down, was intended for Kevin Dyson. Al Harris defending, but Harris was looking for the ball, and that's why they did not throw the flag.
Yeah, and he's got a right to make a play on the ball, and that is his turf, and he's not doing anything to impede the progress. That's just a good play. And, you know, when Al Harris comes in for Troy Vincent, there's not a huge drop-off in Jim Johnson's mind. He feels he is a quality corner and could start if need be, and that's the case this afternoon.
Vincent out because of that knee injury in practice on Thursday, and the rookie Sheldon Brown, now in Harris's old spot, as the nickel cornerback. Second down and 10. Eddie George looking for running room. And he gets to about 5 yards with Derek Burgess making the play. And the clock running out, and it looks like the Tennessee Titans are going to bypass any more play. Clock is going to run out. The crowd will be upset. Eddie George winds up with 14 yards on 7 carries after an early flurry. And this has been a damper of a first half for the Tennessee Titans, thanks to the Eagles. What an opportunistic team they are, Moose.
Well, I tell you, the Tennessee Titans were very impressive the first time they had the ball. Their defense was playing well, and then you have a miscue in special teams. And since that point, the momentum has shifted to Philadelphia. The crowd has been out of it, and as we hear right there at the end of the half, actually booing the home team as the half ends.
You don't want to hear boos on opening day. Tennessee had a 7-0 lead, and McNabb with 3 touchdown passes to 3 different receivers, and the Eagles have a healthy halftime lead. Right now, let's go down to the field to Don Tollefson.
Thanks very much, Dick Stockton. We got Eagles head coach Andy Reid joining us. Andy, much like an opener 2 seasons ago in Dallas, special teams and pickle juice, a pretty good combination.
Well, it is, Tolly. We've got to come back and play the second half aggressive and stay on top of it.
You promised a very dramatic change in the offense from the preseason. That's certainly the case, and Antonio Freeman a huge part of that.
Well, he is. We can't rest on it, though, Tolly. You know how that goes in the National Football League. You got to stay on top of it, and we're going to do that this second half.
Good luck in the second half, Coach. And, of course, Dick and Moose, I'll tell you, Antonio Freeman opened it up for a lot of the other guys on that Eagles offense.
All right, thank you very much, Don. That's the end of the first half with the score. The Eagles 24, Tennessee 10. Fox NFL Sunday continues with a Visa halftime after these messages. Field position story, and it has been the Eagles getting the big advantage, starting from their own 45 on average, and Tennessee back to their own 22 because of some penalties which have set them back.
Very difficult to go 80 yards in the NFL on a consistent basis and score points, so they've got to do some things in this half to create better field position for themselves.
McNair 10 of 13 for 117 yards and 1 touchdown pass in the first half. Eddie George with Camella blocking in front, cuts to the outside and loses his helmet, and Hugh Douglas brings him down. George picking up 20 yards on 6 carries in the first half, caught a touchdown pass, which, by the way, was his 9th of his career. Did not catch a touchdown pass last year for Tennessee.
And that had to be the most disappointing thing, because he did get off to a great start and then was slowed in the second half. And look at that hit by Hugh Douglas right there. Boy, he just pops his helmet right off. And that is a guy who, the end of the first half with the big hit on Robert Holcomb to cause a fumble, and he's continued it on right here. The first play of the second half just knocks Eddie's helmet right off.
Second down and 8. Redskins in front of the Arizona Cardinals. You see scores from around the league all day in that spot. And here is McNair, and goes underneath to George. And George will be a couple of yards shy of the first down, and Carlos Emmons on the initial hit.
And that last hit is definitely worth going back and taking another look at. That's what you call a form tackle by Hugh Douglas. He put his helmet right on Eddie's ear hole. Boom. And off the helmet comes. For a team that was supposed to struggle in the heat a little bit this afternoon, Dick, the Eagles are flying around to the football.
A pickle juice, huh?
I tell you, there must be
Works
something
every time.
to it.
Third down and 2. Drew Bennett, number 83, is the third wide receiver for the Titans. And out of the backfield, Derek Mason. And Mason, who lined up in the slot. And watch it there, Al Harris and Mason going at it out of bounds. Little pat on the back by Jeff Fisher. It'll be a first down for Tennessee. No flags. They gained 14 on this play.
Well, you know what? I don't know what's going on right here, but I think Al Harris is trying to hold up Derek Mason as they go out of bounds so he doesn't get a flag. You can see right there, he's not, and then Derek Mason gets upset. He is lucky that he didn't get the flag thrown on him. That continued out onto the field. So now you've got Al all upset.
Hey, Jim Johnson said the one thing I'm concerned about with Al Harris, penalties, because a lot of times he's a marked man out there. First down at the 42. And straight back is McNair, and with the reception is Frank Wycheck, and a flag goes down. Wycheck, and another one goes down, and Hugh Douglas now yelling at the umpire, who looks like he threw his hat. And this one, according to the reaction of the Titans, could be going against the dark green of Philadelphia. Terry McCauley, and it will be personal foul against the Eagles. They're getting a little rambunctious out there, the visitors.
Yeah, well, we're going to go take a look at this because I kept my eye on him on that play because that spilled over after the sideline thing. Watch this. Watch the swing right here. Right there at the head. Now, that's what gets Derek Mason upset. Now, watch at the end of the play. This is going to continue to go on. Here comes Derek Mason. Okay, you took a shot at me, and then he gets another one from him.
There were two penalties. One was declined. The personal foul was not. There's Harris. That's what Jim Johnson was worried about with Al Harris, and as a result, the Titans will have a first down in Philadelphia territory at the 27.
You got to be a smart player. You can be a physical player. You can be a tough player, and a guy that people are worried about playing against for 60 minutes every Sunday, but you've got to be a smart player.
Titans first down on the 27 of the Eagles, trying to get back in this game. Trailing by 2 touchdowns, and they're going to throw it. McNair will try to throw it, but he's sacked. And a 2-yard loss. Hugh Douglas with the pressure. He's been there all day.
Wow. Yeah, he just went right by Brad Hopkins. Brad went to put a big hit on him and just missed. He's taking it up another notch right now. He finished the first half great. He's come out in this opening drive in the second half and has just continued it.
That's the first sack of the game by the Eagles. The Titans have 3. Second down and 12. Pitch to Eddie George, trying to cut upfield and hemmed in, and it was Sean Barber. And the first one really that got to him was Paul Grassmanis, who had his foot, and then Barber came along later. And so it'll be third down, and again 12 coming up. Douglas a bit gimpy as he runs off the field, replaced by N.D. Kalu.
He's got to be a little bit tired. He's been chasing everybody all over the field on this opening drive.
Look at this Eagle defense, and they have a lead of 2 touchdowns. A very large hill to climb for anybody. McNair out of the shotgun, and here comes the blitz. McNair has to get rid of it in a hurry, and no flag is thrown. Kevin Dyson was bumped with the ball in the air. They could even say he had no chance to get the ball, or the defender was trying to make a play on the ball. In any event, it's fourth down.
And what they're doing is they're bringing all their pressure in here in the middle. And not everybody is blocking down. On that play right there, Fred Miller's got to come down too. Turn the outside guy loose and come down inside and take Corey Simon. They're turning the inside guy loose. He's got a cleaner path to the quarterback. They've struggled with that blitz package all afternoon.
So Joe Nedney trying to give the Titans a little life here. This will be a 47-yard attempt. And Nedney's kick, and it is good. Joe Nedney with his second field goal of the day for the Titans. And the Eagles lead now 24-13.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Lexus and their passionate pursuit of perfection.
Nashville, Tennessee on opening day, and we want to remind you, coming up next in the second part of our doubleheader, Marshall Faulk leads the potent Rams against Brian Griese and the Broncos. Full day of NFL action continues next on Fox. A man who has to be severely disappointed, Javon Curse, who suffered a broken bone in his foot. Here's the kickoff. Brian Mitchell inside the 5. Mitchell still in stride and still going, and a return up to midfield. Joe Nedney, the kicker, making the stop. So Mitchell with a return, and a flag is down. And preliminary signal is that it's against the Eagles. So not so fast, Sailor.
And what you had there.
During return, holding, receiving team, number 58, 10-yard penalty.
That's like Grease.
First down.
And that hurts.
The reason that one came in late was he threw his beanbag instead of his flag.
So a 46-yard kickoff return by Brian Mitchell is lost. And the Eagles will have it back on their 23. We'll be right back. The Eagles starting from their 23-yard line. They were up to midfield, and then came the penalty. 24-13, Philadelphia. Donovan McNabb back in the pocket, loses it. Actually, it's intercepted by Lance Schulters. It was deflected as he let go of it. Schulters still on his feet. And the newcomer from the 49ers gives the Titans a break on the first turnover committed by the Eagles.
He might have fumbled that, Dick. They're still down there fighting for the ball. That was a huge hit.
That would be heartbreaking from the Tennessee side if he coughed it up after the interception, but it's going to be Tennessee ball. And it was Kevin Carter who really forced Donovan McNabb.
There you see, he hits him as he's in his throwing motion. Lance Schulters catches it, but watch at the end of this play, Chad Lewis. This is a great run back by Lance Schulters. I don't know how he stayed on his feet some of the time, but he's going to pay the price right at the end. You see right there, Donovan's concentrating downfield. He doesn't feel Kevin Carter coming in from his right side.
So the Titans with a break. First down on the Eagle 22. Kevin Dyson in motion to the right. The backfield is Greg Camella, and let's see if they rule a catch or incomplete. It's a catch and a fumble, and the Eagles get it back, and it's Sean Barber. So Greg Camella, the former Giant fullback, whose asset is as a receiver out of the backfield, fumbles after making the catch, and the Eagles alertly get it back to snuff out another Titan hope.
Oh, it looked like they had the right play call. They threw it right into, oh, there's Blaine Bishop, the former Titan too. Boy, he puts his helmet right on the football. Nothing Greg Camella is going to do there. That's not sloppy play. Look at Blaine Bishop, right on the football. And that's right, Dick. He was brought in here to add a little bit of a passing threat in the two-back formation, the standard formation. But oh, what a big turn of events right there.
So the Eagles now with the ball again on their 19-yard line, and they hand off to Deuce Staley. And Staley may be a yard on the play. And right now, for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick and Darrell, you know the Skins trailed by 3 at the half. Boy, Spurrier come out in the second half. 2 scores. Here's the second one. A 43-yarder from Matthews to Rod Gardner. That strike now makes it 24-16. Washington on top. Back to Dick Stockton and Darrell Johnston.
All right, JB. So the Eagles are winning here. Washington winning there. 2 NFC East teams. Second down and 10.
There goes Donovan audibling again. One of the things that Andy wanted to see him improve on this year.
Dorsey Levens is the back, and the out pass incomplete off the hands of James Thrash. How many times can the Tennessee Titans go to the wall after mistakes? Getting a great opportunity there following the interception by Lance Schulters, and then on the very first play giving it back to the Eagles.
Yeah, they come out, they have the opening drive where they get some points, gain a little bit of that momentum back, the big turnover, and then right back. And there you see the third down conversions. What an improvement today. That has, to me, been the biggest reason that they've had success offensively. Done a great job in third downs this afternoon.
And this third down pass to Todd Pinkston, and it's enough for the first down with Andre Dyson covering. And when we talked to Andy Reid in our meeting yesterday, first thing he said, last year, too many third and longs.
And that's what that one was right there, a 3rd and 10 situation. And Todd Pinkston does a nice job of getting to the depth he needs for the first down and still affording him the ability to work back to Donovan McNabb without losing yards to come up a little bit short.
Andy Reid, Jeff Fisher actually did face each other in a high school all-star game in California many years ago. Deuce Staley spinning his way, and a pickup of 3 yards. Albert Hainsworth making the tackle for the Tennessee Titans.
This is where that run game is going to be important for the Philadelphia Eagles. They've got to be able to run the ball in a situation like this where they've got an 11-point lead and take time off the clock. They can't get out here and throw incompletes and leave a lot of time for the Tennessee Titans to try and get back into this football game.
2nd and 7. Brian Westbrook behind Donovan McNabb. And the pitch to Westbrook. And the rookie from Villanova, who's got some good speed, and he does not get to the sticks. Samari rolled, returning this year after missing several weeks last year with a torn ACL, knocks Westbrook out. They think highly of the rookie from Villanova, 3rd-round pick.
He's had a great camp, and he, similar to John Simon with the Titans, has found a place in this offense where specific plays and packages have been created for him. And he's going to get just as many touches as Dorsey and Deuce get. And he's going to make sure that all 3 of them are on the field during the course of the game.
3rd and 1. Quarterback sneak, 1st down, Eagles to the 42 of Philadelphia with the clock winding down. 8 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. The Eagles leading 24-13. The only points in the second half thus far. Joe Nedney with a 47-yard field goal for Tennessee.
Philadelphia doing a nice job right now running the football, taking time off the clock. That's what they're going to need to do. I can't talk about it enough. That's an area to me that they really need to make a big leap in to reach the levels that they have set for themselves this season.
They have 4 wide receivers, and they run the ball with Westbrook. And that was something that Andy Reid told us he wanted to do more of, is spread the defense with the 4 wide receivers and then run the ball.
Yeah, he felt that the Titans were very, very good when you were in standard personnel, which is a fullback, tight end, and halfback, or even 2 running back sets and your 2 tight ends. He wanted to open things up, get the 3 wide receiver sets out there, and then try and create some lanes with some wide splits and some spread offense packages.
Yet they've only rushed for 36 yards, passed for 174, but the scoreboard is in their favor. 2nd down and 6. McNabb on the delay, Westbrook, Brian Westbrook, and straight ahead for the 1st down to the 42-yard line of the Titans. Gain of 12 yards, and the Eagles in Tennessee territory.
And this is very, very important for the Philadelphia Eagles to be able to do. Hank Fraley right there, manned up, right, just giving his back a 2-way go. Nice job of staying square. There goes Brian Westbrook right off the block. You see the strength running through the tackle right there. So it is a nice changeup. Different running styles. Brian Westbrook and Deuce Staley.
And they change up the style again. Dorsey Levens is in the game right now, and they hand off to Levens, and Levens diving for about 3 yards inside the Titan 40, where Keith Bullock makes the play, and looks like he's in pain.
Boy, for a team that has just gotten healthy coming into the season this year, they have had a lot of guys down on the football field during the course of the game.
And, a lot of guys for Tennessee, this is their humidity, their heat, and they've suffered as much as the Eagles with the weather.
There you see Keith Bullock coming off the field. Good news for the Titans, just a little bit of cramping going on right there. And a hot, humid day, you think that would favor the home team, but I'm a big advocate. I'd rather spend 3-4 hours in it than 5 or 6 weeks.
Well, Donald Mitchell has come in as a nickel back. And on 2nd down, here's Deuce Staley, and straight ahead with Kevin Carter on the tackle. We'll bring up a 3rd and a long 5 for the Eagles with under 6 minutes to go here in this 3rd quarter. Deuce Staley having a fine opening game as a receiver and a rusher. Caught a touchdown pass on a shovel pass in the 1st quarter from Donovan McNabb. So 3rd down and 4. So it's not a long 5, it's a short 4. Dorsey Levens, the back, and the pass short of the 1st down, and it's caught by Chad Lewis. Yeah, Tank Lewis. I tell you, Tank Lewis, a rookie from Stanford, Tank Williams that is, starting his first NFL game, and he has done a pretty good job against a tough tight end, and he prevented the 1st down there.
He really has had a nice afternoon, and you talk, the big adjustment for young guys in this scheme is just acquiring it and learning everything. And when they told us that their big matchup was going to be Tank Williams against Chad Lewis, we were kind of surprised. We thought they might use Keith Bullock a little bit more, but he's done a nice job this afternoon. Right there, a big hit that makes him a little bit short on first down.
Yeah, Jim Schwartz has to be happy with that. The Eagles go for it on fourth down. Another quarterback sneak. And it looks as if Donovan McNabb has the necessary yardage to keep the sticks. And McNabb, as he told us, the weight training has really bulked him up even some more.
Yeah, he's put on 10 pounds. He's up to about 240 pounds. And that's 2 consecutive conversions on quarterback sneaks. So that must have been his thing. Look at the leg drive and
second effort.
Fight for those yards. He was a big guy last year, I tell you what. He walked into the room yesterday. Whew, man. Quarterbacks are getting huge in the NFL.
Dante Culpepper, another one as an example. Here's the handoff, Dorsey Levens. And holding on to Levens was Donald Mitchell, but he gets good yardage on first down, picking up about 5 yards. So the Eagles, it's the old San Francisco 49ers West Coast offense. Build up a lead and then run the ball in the second half and chew up the clock.
But that was a question mark coming into the season. Could Philadelphia run the ball and take time off the clock? And this drive right here, their offensive line has taken control of the line of scrimmage.
Second down and 4. There's the audible called by McNabb. And let's see if the hard count threw the Titans off. No, it'll be false start instead.
Offense. Number 74. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
Doug Brzezinski, the guard who replaced John Welburn, who suffered a fractured left fibula in the first quarter. So the 2 major injuries, Javon Curse with a broken bone in his foot, and Welburn. Second and 9. Packers and the Falcons in a shootout. And the flip to Cecil Martin. First carry, not a charm for Cecil Martin and the Eagles. First time he's handled the ball, and a loss of 2 yards on the play thanks to Robert Smith.
Yeah, and unfortunately Cecil might not get a whole lot of opportunities again, so that could be a statistic that stays there. But I like the thought behind the play. They motion Dorsey Levens out. You see him go right there. There's a crack on the play, and that's just a nice play by Robert Smith, getting upfield and beating the charge and disrupting that play.
He actually lost 5 on the play, Moose, bringing up 3rd and 14 at the 35 of the Titans, who are showing blitz. And here they come, and McNabb goes down at the 41-yard line. Lance Schulters on the safety blitz. Talk about turning the tables. The Tennessee Titans with the blitz and their 4th sack of McNabb.
And they're showing that they can bring a little bit of their own pressure. And right there, he gets across Dorsey Levens' face. A little bit of hesitation by Dorsey. It's hard to tell. Here comes Lance creeping up into the box.
And as
Dorsey's got to see that. He lets him get right across his face.
Excuse me, Moose. I was going to say, as a result of that, they knocked him out of field goal range. And so Sean Landeta will now have to punt. And Derek Mason back to return. Fair catch called for by Mason on the 14.
Is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. By Applebee's Neighborhood Grill and Bar, eating good in the neighborhood. Applebee's. By Sprint, introducing PCS Vision, clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. And by Nike.
Dick Stockton, Darrell Johnston, and Don Tollefson here in Nashville. The Eagles had the ball for nearly 9 minutes on that drive and came up empty, did not get any points. Lance Schulters with a little cramp, but he had that 6-yard sack, which forced the Eagles to punt. Now the Titans from the 14-yard line, trailing by 11. Eddie George. And George picking up a couple. Hugh Douglas making the tackle. Well, Steve McNair coming off his career season, Moose. He has done the job percentage-wise. Terrific. 14 of 18, 155 yards. The touchdown pass to George, which started the scoring today, and no interceptions.
They got off to a great start this afternoon. Unfortunately, they have slowed a little bit offensively, but again, it's just mistakes. You saw the rating right there, over 120. Just a great afternoon for Steve McNair.
Second down and 9. Wycheck moving out to the left. McNair up the middle to George. Eddie George with a couple of nifty moves has the first down at the 26-yard line. And a pickup of 11 for the Titans.
Well, the best thing Eddie George does right here is when he catches the ball, he turns and gets north and south right away. And watch Barry Gardner come up. A quick little move right there, but then he is straight up the field before he starts to try and make a big play.
And time running out, nearly a half a minute remaining in the third quarter. On first down, McNair, and unable to make the grab on the high toss is Derek Mason. Tennessee Titans next game against the Dallas Cowboys, and the Eagles will have a Monday night affair against the Washington Redskins a week from tomorrow night.
He is not thinking about any of that stuff right now.
And neither are we, for that matter.
He is so focused on his job. It is amazing.
And we are too.
Surprising to see that little wry smile going in at halftime too. You don't usually get that from Coach Reed.
Showing blitz. And there is McNair running away from it and fires, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Sean Barber. And McNair upset with himself. So here the Eagles losing Jeremiah Trotter to the Washington Redskins, signing Sean Barber, and Barber paying big dividends on opening day.
Well, they lost Mike Caldwell last year, and that was a big loss. Corey Simon does a great job. Number 90 right there. He doesn't buy the fake. He forces Donovan to throw the ball when he didn't want to.
Another Eagle break. We'll be back. Fourth turnover by the Titans, and the first interception of the game. Sean Barber giving the Eagles a first down on the 35 of Tennessee with 15 ticks remaining in the third quarter. McNair picked off. Andre Dyson. That's twice today we have had back-to-back turnovers. And McNabb with his second interception, and Dyson now down on the field. Andre Dyson, the second-year cornerback, and he is hurting. Have you seen as many of these kinds of injuries in this kind of weather in an opening game, Moose?
I tell you what, Dick, when we were in Dallas and we would practice in Austin, I really felt that it was worse to stay in it a long time and let the heat take its toll as opposed to coming in and playing an afternoon in it. And again, it's Andre Dyson. It looks like it's going to be cramping again. You saw him pulling the toes up. They're bringing the water out onto the field right now. So here's a team that's been 5 or 6 weeks in this heat and humidity. Philadelphia's come down, and they're playing in it for one afternoon. And they're just struggling with it. And what a great read by Andre Dyson. Believe what you've seen and what your coaches have talked to you on the sideline. Know the tendencies of a team. On first down, they like to throw short. He just stood right where he was supposed to be. Relied on his instincts, and Donovan threw the ball right to him.
Pickle juice. We know the Eagles are into pickle juice. What about the Titans? But that pass intended for Thrash picked off. Second Eagle turnover, so 10 seconds remaining, and the Titans with it on their own 33. Keep it on the ground to Eddie George. And George getting about 4 yards, and Dyson is heading for the locker room as the clock runs down. And that is the end of the third quarter here at the Coliseum in Nashville with the score, the Eagles 24, the Titans 13. Fox NFL Sunday from Nashville will continue after a word from your local Fox station. Back at the Coliseum in Nashville, we begin the fourth quarter. Tennessee Titans took a 7-0 lead, and there has been the scoring. Philadelphia shut out in the third, so an 11-point lead for the Eagles as we start the fourth quarter. Second down and 6. Steve McNair is going deep to Dyson, and it's intercepted by Al Harris, but a flag is down. Harris returning, and Harris goes out of bounds, crossing midfield, but the penalty marker thrown back at the 20. They had double coverage on Kevin Dyson with Harris and the former Titan Blaine Bishop, and this will go against the Eagles. So the Titans get a break here, and will have first down in Eagle territory, a 39-yard penalty.
Pass interference. Defense, number 24.
And it's on Blaine Bishop, who spent 9 years with this franchise, the first 4 in Houston, last 5 here in Tennessee.
And he's going to be the safety that's given help over the top to Al Harris. You see right there, he just kind of gets caught, gets a little bit in the way and trips up Kevin Dyson. That was an easy one for the officials. You know, you throw the ball deep and 2 good things can happen. You can either make the catch or, in this situation, get the PI.
So nullify the interception, and the Titans with a first down on the 23-yard line of the Eagles, with a chance to cash in here early in the 4th. And the quick pass to Derek Mason, and they get a few, about a couple on that play with Al Harris defending against Mason.
Boy, did he break on that immediately. That ball came out to Derek Mason. Al Harris goes from back pedal to full speed forward. You can see why Jim Johnson likes him so much as a cover corner.
Second down and 7. Titans going with the 2 tight end alignment with Wycheck and Aaron Kinney. And the slant, caught, still on his feet, is Mason. And Mason is going to get close to the goal line. He's out of bounds inside the 5. So Mason, and it looks like he is slow getting up. A 17-yard gain, and the Titans will have first and goal.
Well, Al Harris gets up in the press coverage. What a nice release by Derek Mason right there. And then he takes out Sean Barber. Look at Darwin Walker, number 97, coming all the way down the field after the pass rush. That's great hustle right there that probably prevents a touchdown. Watch Darwin Walker. Here he comes into your picture right there. Great hustle.
That is terrific hustle for a guy that the Eagles hope would sustain for an entire game. So Derek Mason with 6 catches and 70 yards. And it'll be first and goal for the Titans on the Eagle 3-yard line. Boy, the medics have been out as much as the kicking teams, I think, today for Tennessee.
Well, unfortunately, right there, though, that's one of the more severe injuries for the Tennessee Titans, with Javon Curse out with a broken foot. And the respect that the Philadelphia organization had for him coming into this game, that was one of their big concerns, was the way he pursues and just never gives up on a play and making big plays downfield. And for him to go out as early as he did in this game has really been a big loss for the Tennessee Titans. Yeah,
huge when you consider the big picture. Now, Carlos Hall, the rookie, played very well, but you know, Hall is not Curse, and Carter looks like he is having a rejuvenated year. So the Tennessee Titans will have to go back a bit to the drawing board if this is a prolonged injury, which it could. Drew Bennett has come into the game as Mason goes out. First and goal at the 3 for Tennessee early here in the 4th. McNair flips to Eddie George, and George gets hit and dropped. And Brian Dawkins was the first one to get him. Good play by Dawkins, forcing the line of scrimmage, bringing up second and goal after a gain of 1.
Brian Dawkins coming off a well-deserved Pro Bowl visit last year. One of the best free safeties, not just in the NFC, but in the NFL. He can play up in the box as a linebacker. He can cover guys out of the slot. Just a great football player.
Now the goal line team defensively comes in for Philadelphia. That includes Rashard Cook, number 42, who they're using in that place. Second and goal. And play fake, and the pass, the blitz was on, and unable to hold on to it it was Greg Camella, and you can't blame him because McNair had to really fire it away fast with Cook coming on the pressure.
Rashard Cook does a good job of doing his responsibility. Don't chase the play down inside. You have contained. You have the quarterback. And makes a nice defensive play. He forces Steve McNair to throw that ball very quickly and off his back heel. He had Greg Camella wide open. Nice job by Rashard Cook.
And you could not expect McNair to make a better throw with Cook storming in.
There's not a lot of guys who could even have gotten that ball within range for Greg Camella to even have an attempt.
So it's 3rd and goal at the 2, and this may be a smart timeout, and I think it would be at this point, Moose.
This is a huge play right now at this juncture in the football game. You want to be sure you got the right play call.
So the timeout called by the Titans, their first of the second half. They want to make sure. That's how important it is, as Moose said. We'll be back. Everyone's cramping up, and there's Eric Morris pedaling away.
Somebody needs to find out on the Titan bench what Eric Morris is drinking over there.
So it is 3rd and goal at the 2. Justin McCarron's in the lineup for the first time, lining up on the right. Drew Bennett and Kevin Dyson, the other receivers. 3rd and goal on the 2 after a Tennessee timeout. And here is the pass, and it's caught by McCarron's for the touchdown. So they bring him in, and a flag is down. So let's see if there's a penalty marker down, and there is. So let's hold the celebration for you Tennessee fans, and now you can yell because the flag is against the Eagles. It is declined, pass interference, touchdown Titans, and they climb to it in 5 and could very well go for 2 right now. They may go for 2 at this point.
Look at the release by Justin McCarron's right there. He gets across the face. Bobby Taylor's holding him, hooking him, doing just about everything, but he can't stop that throw. What a good play call, too, because all the pressure was right up the middle.
So the Titans will go for the 2-point conversion, and if they are successful, they'll bring them to within 3 of the Eagles. And plenty of time to go in this game. Otherwise, they trail by 5. This is a natural.
Yeah, this is one of those no-brainers. Even if they kick it, they're still a touchdown away from taking the lead. So why not try and make the 2-point conversion and put yourself in a position to be able to tie the football game with a field goal.
So here they go. Spread them out in the slot. Last season, the Titans were 3 for 4. Pretty good. They got Wycheck in the slot, and McCarron's and Bennett out there as well. And quarterback draw, and he gets there. Ball gets loose. It does not go. He was short. He had lost the ball before he crossed the plane. It remains 24-19. Well, the 2-point conversion went by the boards, but Justin McCarron's with his first career touchdown. A 2-yard pass, but it happened on 3rd down. And finally, the Titans get some points off of an Eagle mistake. The turn of the interception by Dyson, so it is a 24-19 game early here in the 4th as Joe Nedney puts his foot to it. Brian Mitchell back deep, and Nedney's kick goes into the end zone. And that's what you want from a kicker. You want the field goals and you want the long field goals, but the kickoffs, you want them deep. Flag is down. So a little music and a little yellow flag, and the penalty will go against Philadelphia. Well, it couldn't have been on the return. There was none.
I think they called it. Yeah. How do you get in trouble on a touchback?
We're about to find out.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, late hit, number 42. Half the distance to the goal from the 20-yard line. First down.
That was Rashard Cook. They'll have it at the 10. And now the music sounds. Good news, bad news for the Titans. Keith Bullock, the linebacker, in the game, but Mike Eccles, a rookie, replaces Andre Dyson. So there are 2 rookies in the Tennessee secondary from the 10-yard line, and the pass to Pinkston, and he did not have control of the ball. Oh, yes, they say a catch, yes. He makes the catch at the 18-yard line after the bobble, so the official right on it.
Donovan McNabb wastes little time testing Mike Eccles. Yep, he's got that security. He's dragging the feet. Good job by the officials. Good job by Todd Pinkston.
Officials look hands first, then feet. Second down and 1. Handoff and running play to Brian Westbrook. Carlos Hall in on the tackle and still short of the first down. Donovan McNabb with 3 touchdown passes today, but it's been downhill graph since then.
Yeah, he got off to a heck of a start, but you see right there, 3 out of 11 with the 2 interceptions since that great start.
3rd and 1. Looking one way, going the other. First down pass caught by Staley. And so the Eagles converting on 3rd downs. That was their Achilles heel last year, and they've improved on it to a big degree in this opening game. And the first down at the 28-yard line of the Titans.
Yeah, and I tell you, this is a nice job of Donovan McNabb finding somebody. Look at him right there. His first guy's covered. Nobody gives up on the play. Deuce Staley just kind of drifts out. Frank Chamberlain loses him in coverage. And that is an area that they really struggled last year. 3rd and 2 or less, and they threw the ball a lot. You look at what they've done today, 4 for 4. And that's after being last in the NFL last season.
First down at the 27. And again to the air, getting away from one pass rusher, and this pass to Pinkston, and it is incomplete. And right now for a game break, let's return to James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick Sterling, preseason play by Atlanta continuing here against Green Bay. The pitch back to Warrick Dunn, his 2nd touchdown score of the game. It is now 31-27, Atlanta over Green Bay. That with 5:34 remaining in regulation. Back to Dick and Daryl.
Couple of shootouts, JB. The Redskins and the Cardinals, and the game you just showed us the highlight of, Falcons and Pack.
Yeah, that's what a great game. And the Packers looking to get off to a great start. Some people thinking they had an easy September schedule, but Atlanta wasn't buying into that one.
I don't know what easy is anymore. 2nd and 10 on the draw play. Brian Westbrook with a second effort, and Westbrook carries it out to the 34-yard line.
Todd Pinkston was very upset that this was ruled an incomplete. They said he was out of bounds. He's got possession right there. There's 1 foot down. There's 2 feet down. But he had a reason to be upset because he made it look very nonchalant as he went out of bounds. And then when they came in and ruled it, he was very upset. Obviously didn't press his case hard enough.
3rd down and 3. Pitch to Westbrook. Turning the corner. First down, Eagles. So twice now they have converted on 3rd downs and are charging toward midfield.
What a nice job by Brian Westbrook, just getting downhill. This is a pitch out to the right side, but he knows where that first down marker is. Watch this. As this run gets towards the end, he lowers his shoulder and gets all his momentum going forward. That's a very, very veteran-like play by a first-year running back.
4th quarter, 9:40 remaining. The Eagles lead by 5. Deuce Staley back in. They're shuffling in the running backs today. And the handoff to Staley. And Deuce, nothing. No gain. Bringing up 2nd down and 10. So an array of running backs used today by the Eagles. Staley, Levens, and Westbrook. Westbrook has carried 8 times and has averaged nearly 5.5 yards per carry. Pretty good debut today.
Well, the good thing that does is it keeps everybody fresh in that backfield. And we've got another Tennessee Titan down on the field. Now Samari Rolle is down being attended to. But, that's what we've seen with Philadelphia. They've been able to platoon their skill positions, and we haven't seen this on their side of the ball. They're rotating the running backs. They've got a lot of different guys coming in the wide receiver position, playing different personnel groups. So they've been able to stay fresh in this heat and humidity here.
We have had a lot of players go down because of the heat problem. And this time, Samari Rolle. Well, Fox NFL Sunday returns next week when JB, Terry, and Howie welcome special guest John Elway. The future Hall of Famer will tell our guys who he thinks are the elite quarterbacks in the game today and helps break down next week's games. It all starts at noon Eastern, 9 Pacific next week, followed by exciting NFL action as most of you will see the Giants take on the Rams. Giants losing to the 49ers on a late field goal on Thursday night to kick off this NFL season, and it has been a great weekend of NFL football. And in New York they had a huge party at Times Square to start it off. But the Giants now with 10 days to get ready for another tough game at St. Louis, and the 49ers winning their opener.
Hopefully they'll keep that as a tradition with the Thursday night kickoff, and whether it's the Giants-Jets rotation, there's been some talk about Chicago and Washington and Dallas also involved, but it just adds a little bit of a special flavor to the opening weekend, similar to what baseball has with opening day.
Well, in the secondary, Andre Dyson has come back in for the Tennessee Titans, but Frank Chamberlain has replaced Randall Godfrey at middle linebacker for Tennessee. 2nd and 10 for Philadelphia. Now Dorsey Levens has come in at running back. Pass play. Pressure and incomplete to Thrash. And Henry Ford putting the pressure on. Ford was iffy today with a ankle problem.
The other guy in there was Carlos Hall, and for a guy that wasn't expected to play a lot today, he's had a really nice afternoon filling in for Javon Curse for the Tennessee Titans.
Well, there you see the Eagles 54% on third downs, and they've got 10 yards on this one. This is a little tougher than the first two, as Samari Rolle returns to cornerback for the Titans. 3rd down and 10. And the quick pass thrown behind Pinkston, and that'll bring up 4th down. And McNabb had to get rid of it in a hurry.
And that's the position you put yourself into on 3rd and longs. The defense has the ability to bring a lot of pressure, and if you have to adjust your routes, normally your adjustments will come short of what your 1st down yardage is needed to keep the drive alive. And that was the situation right there. And as you pointed out, Donovan McNabb had to get rid of the ball very quickly.
So Derek Mason going back to return, and Sean Landeta to punt it away. Landeta, 40 years old and as good as they come, and the fair catch by Mason on the 16-yard line. So we have just under 9 minutes remaining. 4th quarter. Tennessee needs a touchdown to take the lead. The Titans will start from the 16, and what's interesting, Moose, is because the Eagles don't have the running game, the other team is always going to be in the game because they're not going to chew it out, chew the clock up.
Yeah, they had that one real nice drive in the 3rd quarter that took time off the clock, but they got no points for that.
So Steve McNair from the 16-yard line and keeps it on the ground. Eddie George, no gain on 1st down, and that was Ike Reese with the play. Barry Gardner is the middle linebacker. Levon Kirkland started, but Gardner is in there now. And they expected it would be kind of a 50-50 affair.
Yeah, they both had very good training camps, and nobody really clearly beat out the other. But to start the game, I think you want Levon in there because of the running presence of Eddie George. And now in this situation, maybe Barry Gardner because of the more likelihood of passing.
2nd down, 11. Play action. McNair, and he's got Eddie George out of the backfield. And Eddie George picking up about 7 yards on the play. And that will bring up 3rd down. Well, so John Fox with a successful debut as head coach of Carolina. They beat the Ravens in the opener.
I guess they like winning those openers. But we got to get somebody down on the sideline to check Eddie's chin straps. This is the 2nd time today this helmet's come off. This one had a little extra help right there from Barry Gardner with a little headlock.
So it's 3rd down and 4. Tennessee has been perfect from that distance on 3rd downs today. And McNair looking to throw, and it's caught. 1st down to Drew Bennett. What did McNair say about Drew Bennett?
He just got the biggest smile on his face when you brought up his name, and he says that he continues to make acrobatic catches, like things that that nobody should be able to catch the ball, and then he struggled in the Green Bay preseason game. Dropped a couple that were, ones that you should never let hit the ground, and Steve got over there right away and made sure that he knew that happens every once in a while. But it seems like there's a real good relationship right there between those two.
Said he lulls you to sleep, and all of a sudden he'll come up and make the big play. John Simon is in at running back, first down at the 30-yard line for Tennessee. Here comes the blitz, and McNair fires it, and it's nearly intercepted by Blaine Bishop. It was intended for Frank Wycheck, and I wonder whether someone got a hand on McNair as he let go of the ball.
Sean Barber was very close on that play. This is the best that they have done, picking up the blitz. And Sean Barber sneaks through right there, and we'll see. Nope, nice job by Steve McNair, staying in the pocket, not moving his feet. This one just kind of got away from him a little bit, and it looks like Frank actually stumbled a little bit coming out of his break also.
2nd and 10 at the 30-yard line with 6:38 remaining in the fourth. Titans need a touchdown to take the lead. And the pitch is to Eddie George, looking for an opening, and George pounds his way to the 31-yard line, still about 5 yards shy of the first down. Rashard Cook, the extra back, making the play on George.
And it's very impressive to have watched Tennessee maintain their composure this game with the way things unravel in the first half. In position right now, only down 1 score, and there has been no panic on their sideline the whole time. And Eddie George even getting back into some positive yards. He had a great start and then ran into a tough little stretch right there. But this Philadelphia defense, they're starting to platoon guys in and out. They could start to feel a little bit of the effects of this heat and humidity.
3rd down and 4. Titans have been successful from this distance on 3rd down. And here is McNair, and the pass is caught. Let's see if forward progress will give him the first down. And Kevin Dyson, I believe he's got it. Kevin Dyson caught the ball, was driven back by Al Harris, but it looks as if he has sufficient yardage for another Titan first down.
He does a good job of getting to the right distance, but let's see if he bobbles it a little bit and then gains control, not until he's back behind the 40-yard line. So you saw Brian Dawkins coming to the end of that play trying to lobby his point with the official, but it's just you run to the distance of the marker to give yourself a little bit of room for error.
I love the way you're nitpicking right here. That's terrific. I like that. You're a precise guy. First down Tennessee, winding down to 5 minutes to go on the Titan 40-yard line, and the end around, and it's going to fizzle in a big way. Kevin Dyson tackled, and a huge loss. Hugh Douglas, 9-yard loss on the play.
I tell you, they have to realize that Philadelphia is playing great team defense right now. There's been a few times where they've tried to run a bootleg out the backside, do some different plays where the person responsible for contain has always stayed at home. And that was the exact case right there. They try to run the reverse, but Hugh Douglas doesn't chase the play down from the backside. His job is to make sure the reverse doesn't come.
So they get a little fancy here, and it costs them. It'll be 2nd down and 19. And time is working against you now, and you need a touchdown. See how McNair responds, and the pass is tipped by Barber, and the pass goes incomplete. And Aaron Kinney is now hobbling, and he's going to come out of the game. Wycheck will come in anyway at tight end. But that was a costly loss on that play when the Titans were making small but inexorable progress, it seemed.
Yeah, at least they continue to go forward. And, that was Eddie George's view going into this thing. We're not going to have big plays all the time. We just can't have the negative yardage plays. And right there, that reverse really puts them in a real difficult situation right now at 3rd and 19.
Back on the 31-yard line of Tennessee. Here come the linebackers up the middle. They pick them up. And here is Derek Mason with the reception. Derek Mason with a big play on 3rd and long. And the Titans get him to the 31-yard line of Philadelphia. Eddie George with a big block. And a pickup of 39.
You're exactly right there, Dick. Eddie George steps up and gives Sean Barber a big pop, gives Steve McNair enough time, and that's what you're going to have in a 3rd and 19. There's the block. Steve's able to slide a little bit to his right, and he finds that opening with Derek Mason. Watch Eddie George again right here. Here comes Sean Barber, helmet to helmet. That's a nice job by Eddie George right there. That's the key to that play. Not so much the reception and the run, but the ability to pick up the blitz and give Steve the time.
And the 39-yard play, and here's George off tackle, getting 3 yards on first down as the clock getting close to 4 minutes. We have 4:0. Now the clock is running under 4 minutes remaining. Derek Mason with a big day today, over 100 yards receiving on 7 catches, and that was the biggest of the day for the Titans.
He has quietly put together 2 really nice seasons, back-to-back 2,000-yard plus seasons, and a lot of people talk about Marshall Faulk, but Derek Mason right here in Tennessee with back-to-back 2,000-yard seasons.
Second down and 7 at the 28. A field goal does not really help the Titans. They need a touchdown. Here comes the pressure, and the pass got off to Wycheck. Frank Wycheck gets inside the 15-yard line, maybe inside the 10. And McNair did a great job of getting rid of it.
And here comes Frank Wycheck on the crossing route, beats Barry Gardner. And if you're going to blitz, you're going to leave some big holes open where you can run. Bobby Taylor had a chance to make the play. He came unblocked from the defensive left side. Steve McNair, we've heard it all afternoon in the pregame show and different topics. These guys are big, strong guys. He just shrugged him off, stepped up in the pocket, and delivered it to Frank Wycheck.
First and goal at the 9. And the clock is 3 minutes, 21 seconds to go. And a 5-point Eagle lead. And here is McNair, and McNair is going to throw this one away. He saw the blitz coming and had no chance. But this was a great, nifty play by McNair.
Oh, right there. Look at that. Just a little step up, and look at the strength to just be able to shrug Bobby Taylor off. The design of the blitz was great. It freed up Bobby Taylor. He's got a clean hit. But Steve McNair felt the pressure coming from the right side, stepped up, and was able to shrug Bobby Taylor off.
Both quarterbacks have that ability today.
These guys are big, physical football players, and if you're going to come in on a blitz and you're going to take them to the ground, you better get everything you got on them, because they will just step up and shrug you right off.
Second and goal at the 9, and there's a pass to Bennett. Flag is down. Bennett gets to the 5-yard line on what looked like a wide receiver screen, and this will be a face mask call against the Eagles. An automatic first down, half the distance coming up.
Personal foul. Grasping the face mask. Defense, number 56. Half the distance to the goal.
Sean Barber, who has made so many big
first down.
plays today, grabs the mask on Bennett.
Well, you see, it's actually Al Harris. Yeah.
It was actually Harris who the Eagles were concerned about him in the penalties today. So it'll be first and goal at the 2-yard line. Harris forced to start at cornerback for the injured Troy Vincent. First and goal at the 2. Titans looking to take the lead in this game, and the pitch to Eddie George. It's a race for the end zone. Touchdown, Tennessee. So Eddie George, the principal factor in this drive, and they are happy, dancing and singing in the heat in Nashville. And another Tennessee Titan is having a problem with the heat, and it's the quarterback, Steve McNair. It is 25-24 on this touchdown.
What a nice call by offensive coordinator Mike Heimerdinger. A quick toss to Eddie George. At the goal line, the Eagles have been showing a lot of pressure up inside between the guards. He gets a little quick toss out to the outside to beat that pressure.
And Neil O'Donnell has already started warming up on the sideline as McNair is shaken up just to be on the safe side. So Eddie George with a touchdown rushing and a touchdown as a receiver today. And the Titans have taken a 1-point lead over the Eagles with 3:09 to go. There is Neil O'Donnell. And of course, you well remember Neil O'Donnell as the Steelers and the Cowboys went against him.
Yes, yes. Unfortunately for Neil, he had a tough afternoon.
You felt bad for him, I'm sure.
Well, you never want to see somebody struggle, but I was a beneficiary of a rough afternoon.
Tongue-in-cheek. Anyway, the greatest pennant race in recent history is underway, and when the dust clears, Fox is in place to see the postseason drama unfold. We've got all the action covered, starting with the division series, continuing through the dramatic ALCS and the NLCS, and culminating with the 2002 World Series. The baseball playoffs come to Fox this fall.
Well, the big reason that we've got Neil O'Donnell up and throwing is the Titans need to go for 2 points right here to get it to 27-24, and Steve McNair is going to have to come off the field for that play. And
here comes O'Donnell. Titans attempted a 2-point conversion on their previous touchdown. It came up empty. But now, after Eddie George's 2-yard touchdown run, O'Donnell will try to give the Titans a 3-point lead. The Eagles know if they stop them, a field goal could win it for them. And the pitch going to George, and he gets in there. Al Harris came over, but Eddie George gets the conversion, and the Titans lead it 27-24. This has been some comeback by the Titans.
They have maintained their composure all afternoon when everything went against them, but this is just great by Mike Heimerdinger. Look at all the pressure in here by the Philadelphia Eagles. They did it on the touchdown run to the right side. They just come back with the exact same play to the left side. Surprised to see Philadelphia come back with a very similar blitz package with everybody up inside between the guards when you had just been burned on a quick pitch to the right.
So the Eagles and Andy Reid had a 2-touchdown lead at halftime. And now the Titans are up 27-24. Eddie George, healthy, had a tendon attached to his toe, had ankle problems, felt good coming in, and he has responded. The numbers may not be that impressive, but you've had to watch out for Eddie George or throw the Philly defense today.
Well, you know, regardless of what his production has been in the running game, just his presence and what he means to this football team when he's healthy. And then he's got 2 touchdowns. He's got the 2-point conversion to tie this football game up. Last year, Philadelphia would give up yards and do different things, but when you got into the red zone, you had a very, very difficult time scoring on the Philadelphia Eagles. So Eddie's presence in the red zone and what he has been able to do, getting touchdowns instead of kicking field goals, goes beyond his production in yardage.
It sure does. And now the Eagles will have a chance, and they have plenty of time with 3 timeouts and 3 minutes to go. Kickoff, Brian Mitchell at the goal line. Eagles counting on a good return here from Mitchell, but Tennessee comes in big on special teams and drops him at the 21. Coming up next, it'll be the St. Louis Rams and the Denver Broncos and some of the stars that will be in this game.
Yeah, and a couple years ago, they opened up the season with the St. Louis Rams being the defending champions and put 77 points on the board combined. So that's going to be a shootout out of Invesco Field.
First down at the 23. Crowd at a fevered pitch. McNabb on first down. Goes down. And the whistle is blown. And McNabb is sacked inside his 15 by Carlos Hall, who has been a defensive hero today, playing in place of the injured Javon Curse.
He has just had an absolute huge day this afternoon. I mean, you lose Javon Curse on your first defensive series, and you're just not going to get the type of production you got from Javon. But I tell you what, Carlos Hall has come very, very close. He has made some huge plays this afternoon.
Rookie from Arizona, picked on the 7th round, loss of 8. Second down and 9-yard loss. They need 19 yards, and McNabb looking to run and he slides at about the 25-yard line. Still will need about 8 yards, and McNabb under pressure today has been sacked 4 times, hit, hurried, and picked off.
Yeah, and this will be that next thing that everybody wants Donovan McNabb to be able to do. Take your team down with 2 minutes to go, with everything on the line, and pull in a victory. Not necessarily carrying the team. Everybody else has stepped up. All right, Donovan, this is your stage.
And he's got to have help.
That is
And
the
as we
2-minute
pointed out,
warning.
as we have the 2-minute warning, is it a one-man offense? We'll find out. 2-minute warning, and let's see if the heartbreaks continue for the Eagles, who lost to Arizona 2 years ago as time expired, beaten by the Rams in overtime at home last year. They were leading by 2 touchdowns and now trail by 3. And we'll find out. We talked about in the beginning, is McNabb the whole offense of this team, Booth?
Well, we're going to find out here over the next 2 minutes.
First down on the 25. Plenty of time for Donovan McNabb, and a great defensive play by Donald Mitchell, breaking up that pass intended for Antonio Freeman.
And he has had help throughout the game. Antonio Freeman was huge in the first half, not only with his production, but freeing up some other guys. He's working the slot right there. This ball is thrown a little bit behind him. He had separation on Donald Mitchell. That ball needed to be out in front of Antonio Freeman coming across on that in route.
So Sean Landeta will kick. Eagles still have their 3 timeouts, and you know they'll use them on the defensive end to get the ball back. And back deep to Derek Mason. Fair catch called for by Mason at the 27-yard line. Well, it's been quite an opener as Donald Mitchell shaken up and Sean Landeta over there, and so many players have cramped up, but it gives us an opportunity here to thank some people. Today's game being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Sandy Grossman. 18 Super Bowls produced and directed between those two. The associate director is Charles McDonald. The broadcast associates are Wayne Wilson and Robert Bubba Slosby. The technical producer is Bob Mueller. The pregame show is produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. The senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And we'd like to thank our guys supporting us up in the booth, our spotter Chris Visser and our statistician Rick Odioso. So the timeout called by Tennessee. It is their second, and within 2 minutes it's the injury timeout, so it counts against your allotment. Steve McNair, by the way, is out on the field. As you look at, we talked about it earlier, Donovan McNabb early on, hot, cooled off since.
Yeah, and you know, hard to say what the reason is there. Some adjustments by the Tennessee Titans defense, or just I think the big question is how is Brian Griese? You know, is he back to his form of 2000 and fully healed or not? And what happens at the running back position?
Those are questions for later. Right now, 1st and 10 for the Titans on the 27. Steve McNair is back in at quarterback, and Eddie George running the ball, and the Eagles will be forced to use their timeouts, which they use one of them here to stop the clock.
We watched Tennessee practice this exact scenario at the facility on Friday, the 4-minute period that they did, and actually it's the first time I'd ever heard of that. And what they do is they script plays that they're going to use in this situation to run the clock out. And you talk about coaches having every base covered. Jeff Fisher, you know, doing a little session right at the end of practice on Friday for this exact scenario that he faces right now.
Eagles with 2 timeouts remaining, and McNair doing a terrific job today and coming off his best year. You know, Tennessee became a passing team out of necessity for Jeff Fisher last year with Eddie George banged up, and now they have the threat to go both ways. And you have to go back to that 39-yard play to Mason.
Oh.
And that was the huge play today. That,
on 3rd and 19.
Exactly. And that may prove to be the difference, but we've got more time for the drama to unfold. It'll be 2nd down and 8. Again, Eddie George. And uses up some more time. The Eagles call their 2nd timeout, 1 left. And another player is banged up or cramped up.
30-second timeout.
And that was Zach Pillar. Looked like he was cramping. The Eagles, before they should call these timeouts, might want to take a look around the way these Tennessee Titans have been dropping. Maybe they can save one of their timeouts and let Tennessee have to use one of theirs.
Yeah, Zach Pillar, who's playing left guard, taking the place of the legend of Bruce Matthews, retiring after 19 years as an Oiler and Titan.
You get a cramp in that hamstring, that's a big cramp.
Big hamstring. 1:37 on the clock. 3rd down and 10 coming up as George was content to just hold on to the ball.
Number one priority, do not put the ball on the ground. Your chances are you're not going to get a first down, but you want to take time off the clock, hold on to the football, punt the ball, and give them a long field to try and come back and get this field goal.
3rd down and 10. McNair is not going to try anything fancy here. He hands off to Eddie George. And George diving to the 31-yard line.
3rd and final. Charge timeout.
And the Eagles have used their last timeout.
30-second timeout.
So Eddie George gaining 44 yards in 17 carries. And the healthiest he has felt. This is pregame.
Yeah, and this is the situation we've got right here. David Akers in pregame today made it from 63 yards out. So going the same direction that the Eagles will be going right now, that would put the line of scrimmage that they would have to get to, and albeit he's got to do it again, but the 46-yard line seems to be the first time that they would have a legitimate attempt at a tying field goal.
Craig Hendrick will kick. It's only the second time today that the Titans have punted the ball, and good hang time for Hendrick. Ryan Mitchell at the 25, and Mitchell gets a few yards back. So 1:23 on the clock, and the Eagles at the 34-yard line. Their own 34, no timeouts remaining.
Well, the defense did their job. They held them to a 3-and-out. They lost a little bit of time on the clock, but now it's up to Donovan McNabb and the offensive side of the ball.
You know, Darryl, they need 20 yards to get it to the 46 for a 65-yarder. I think they want a little more margin of error.
Absolutely. You don't want to be lining up for the 63, 65-yarder side of the game.
Well, Jeff Fisher wants the crowd to come on in, and here they are. First down on the 33. McNabb with time. Dropped by Thrash. He was open at the first down marker. Thrash with a touchdown catch today. Thrash, Deuce Staley, and Chad Lewis caught scoring passes from Donovan McNabb. Eagles at halftime led 24-10, but the Titans have responded in a big way in the second half. 2nd and 10. No timeouts remaining for Philadelphia. And McNabb loses the ball. And the Tennessee Titans get it back. Titans get it back. Kevin Carter, I think, recovered it. And an Eagle is shaken up.
First thing we got to do is go back and take a look. It looks like it was Carlos Hall again with a monster afternoon today. Donovan McNabb.
It was.
Carlos Hall. What a great afternoon. And there, you know, all the discussion that has gone on about this type of play with the tuck rule and
charged with an excess and 4th timeout due to injury.
clearly that is a fumble by Donovan McNabb, and Chad Lewis up on his feet going to the sideline. But you can't say enough about what Carlos Hall has done this afternoon.
Yeah, Javon Kearse breaks a bone in his foot. And Carlos Hall, a rookie from Arkansas, and 6 sacks today. There's Kearse. 6 sacks by the Titans defense. And with 1:12 to go and no timeouts remaining, all the Titans need to do is avoid a turnover. Or we should say a fumble, because they're not going to put the ball in the air. 27-24 Tennessee. In a game in which countless players had heat cramps. Other players were hurt. Welburn with a fractured left fibula. Javon Kearse hurt. War of attrition out there, and it looks like the Tennessee Titans have won this particular war.
Right. I can't say enough what a job Jeff Fisher did keeping this football team together after the way things had fallen apart in the second quarter. And the most disappointing thing to Andy Reid for the Philadelphia Eagles has to be to have a 14-point lead and to have opportunities in the second half to really put this football game away. And they missed out on those opportunities. They let Tennessee hang around. They came back and beat them.
And the contrast and the emotion on the sidelines in this, the opening game, and it's just one game. Eagles know that. They lost to the Rams last year in the opener, got within a game of the Super Bowl. But a great job, Andy Reid says to Steve McNair. But it's better to be on the W side, and that's what Jeff Fisher and the Tennessee Titans have done today, as the Titans will win this game by a score of 27-24. And Tennessee with a huge comeback. So that's the story here. The final score, the Titans 27, Eagles 24. For Darryl Johnson, Dick Stockton. And when we come back,